welcome to Nakhti University. This is colleague J.N.S. And I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. And so, want to make sure that my sound is good because I don't want to be wasting time bumping my gums and guys can hear me. Okay, so that's good. So it looked like there was some sort of issue with the StreamYard and Rumble's interface now. Like you can't stream at the same time on them, or else the sound gets knocked off. So I had to end previous stream and go live again. I was really bummed about that. I don't know what Rumble did, but they did something where it kind of went janky. But nonetheless, we are back in business, and I want to this is a cool topic that I want to discuss today about a music genre called Outre. So we're going to get a little bit into what is the elements of Outre, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Wiz Khalifa going back to the label after being independent. And so it's not gonna be like a gossip fest. We really want to have a holistic conversation about like what's the message being sent to like youth that are independent, younger people that are independent, and then what are the nuances between what garners a more a more successful chance at longevity while being independent. Like what are the elements needed for that? And and what would be someone's benefits or perceived benefits to go back to a label. So it's not going to be so much like, oh, Wiz Khalifa. It's just more so like it's a hot topic. And it's like, well, this is kind of way bigger than him because he has some influence. And then it's like he makes a statement like that where I'm going back to a label, tired of being independent. And then we got to take into context the genre of rap, what is his catalog, his current music capabilities and music production, and the reasons for going back to a label, and the shifts that we see in rap versus, like, say, someone who's independent that plays instruments, that can write their own music, that can sing really well, and that can produce. And so we have some of those artists. I'm not going to say their name, but I know they exist, and I know that they are still independent, and I know that they have massive success. So when I say, I'm not talking about like mainstream, like Hollywood stuff. I'm talking about the fact that they'll be able to do that for the rest of their life because of the skill set that they have, the creative based skill sets, and the actual skill in terms of their natural God given talent. And so let me just make sure the sound is good again, and then we'll get into this ultra. Okay, so let's get into this Ultra. So I do have to say, right, what you see in front of you is just me pulling out raw thoughts on Ultra, and then you see more of concretized thoughts. And so I did use the chat GTP thing to concretize my thoughts. But pretty much, let's go to the raw data, will you, or the raw content, as they say. So Ultra consists of one or more of the following. And so it's one or more of the following. So here you see it separated into lyrics, beats, and then style, right? And so if it's one or more of the following, so let's say you focus on the lyrics of the song, like when what makes something ultra is the fact that there's elements of storytelling, encouragement, anagram or codes if it's a mantra or if repetitive phrases, and then a intentional message. So that's the first element. Okay, so it's a music genre that embraces artistic freedom through unconventional composition, layered storytelling, and then the fusion of diverse musical traditions. That's important because the fusion of the diverse musical traditions is what I like to focus on. And so the name Outre, it does mean like eccentric or beyond the ordinary, unconventional. And so it does reflect its purpose to challenge musical boundaries while creating works that are, for one, intellectually engaging or emotionally expressive or sonically unpredictable. And that is very important to me. Like the next song that I'm releasing, it does have lyrics, it does have a bridge, it does have a chorus, but there's is a lot of sonic unpredictability about it. It's like literally three different beats. Same message tells a story, and then it goes into like each the end of it, like those could be probably, these could be three separate beats for a song. But I didn't want it that way. I wanted a purposeful sonic unpredictability, as well as emotionally expression, or storytelling, or even intellectual engagement or conceptual. So with the song Negro, you don't see lyrics, you see anagrams and you see codes. And those anagrams and codes is based on a mantra or repetitive phrase. So a song says Negro, Negro over and over because it's a bunch of anagrams and it's a conceptual song where when you look at the codes and then of Negro and the anagrams within it, you get more of the intellectual engagement. Now, when it comes to beats, it's usually combining, like you said, multiple genres in one song. And so that could be jazz, hip hop, neo soul, rock, whatever. And so that's the experimentation with it. Like one of the songs you may have, say gospel, jazz, whatever, reggae and jazz. It's some cool things you can really do. And so that's another element of Outre where it combines beats. And then the last one, as far as the style, is like a lot of polyrhythm or bambula rhythm. So when you hear two different meters playing at the same time, for example, you might hear a polyrhythm where one instrument sounds like and it's playing a note in a triple meter, 3 beats per measure, while another instrument is playing a double meter, 2 or 4 beats per measure. And so that's what I like to focus on in a lot of my songs too. And so there's this sudden distinct change from one instrumental beat to another within the same song. There's multi-movement, there's multi-parts. So a song could be divided into 3 separate standalone sections that feel like distinct pieces, but they're still glued together. And then you have a medley, a piece made by combining several separate songs or tunes one after another. So that's the basics, like, when I think of the music that I'm creating. And, okay, this could be eclectic. You got a little bit of rock and roll in there, you got some jazz in there, you got some R&B. And so, well, actually more like neo soul. So with the song Negro, you hear the rock elements and you hear jazz elements, and then you hear more of like a folk sound too, almost like a folk sound. And so to me, that was fun to come up with. And I had the thoughts of what I wanted to do with my head before I put it, so I found out what it was as far as like sound. But I can't act like I'm some grandiose musician, so I did the best that I could do, and I like it. I like the way it came out. And my next one, I really love that one. I got then I'm just excited. I'm excited, and for me, it's more so like this has been therapeutic. Like making music has been therapeutic. It is a good therapy, so I would recommend it if you know that you are on some level musically talented. That is something you can get into, to be honest, music therapy. Okay, so rather than adhering to a single musical style, it intentionally blends elements from multiple genres within a single composition. So a song could combine rock, jazz, hip hop, we already cleared that, classical, electronic, or other musical influences, creating that eclectic experience that resists categorization. The genre values experimentation and originality, encouraging artists to construct music that evolves throughout performance rather than remaining structurally static. And so it does emphasize its substance. And so, again, one of the components could be storytelling. If you have a meaningful message, you could put the meaningful message in there. Encouragement, philosophical reflection, or even symbolic language. And so that's what makes it. Again, you don't have to have all of these in one song. You can have one or two, or however you want to do it. But that's what makes up an outre sound. So some compositions may incorporate anagrams, coded phrases, we covered that already, and lyrical patterns that invite listeners to interpret deeper meanings beyond the surface of the music. And that's what makes art. You ever heard of interpretive art, where someone, the artist, come, you go to the gallery and there's things that's left up for interpretation in terms of like, well, what did the artist mean, or what does this say to you, or what do you get from this? And that is, I think, a cool thing. But I think the mysterious part of, say, using anagrams or codes is now it's this intellectual engagement where people can, kind of like a word hunt, or like was it word hunt, or brain teasers and things of that nature. That's what I think of like in music now. when it comes to, at least to my music, there's a lot of brain teasers, and this has already existed, and there are double entendres, even in rap, where you hear like one word could be wordplay, it can have different meanings and stuff. And so that's always been in existence. But I do have to say, within Ultra, when you're incorporating the anagrams and the coded phrases, this is a little bit on steroids. So it is expected, like, that the meanings and the message is on more intellectual level, not necessarily academic, just intellectual. Those are two different things. So musically, Ultra is distinguished by its dynamic and evolving structure. It incorporates bombula inspired rhythmic influences, complex polyrhythms in which contrasting meters occur simultaneously, dramatic beat switches, and multi-part or multi-movement compositions that unfold yet connected musical chapters. Okay. And so the defining of Outre is intentional artistic innovation. And that's how we have to look at that as well. And it's meant to be immersive. It's meant to encourage active listening, interpretation, and even emotional connection. And so, like I said, like some of the songs is about encouragement. It could be storytelling that a lot of people can relate to. And music always, and again, it's not like we're not saying that this doesn't exist in music, but what we're saying is that this is a very intentional genre in which this exists. Because you'll see, if you don't set the parameters of what the genre entails and what is going to be and what is the definition, you'll see, like what happened with hip hop, unfortunately, you'll see it go from Public Enemy, Fight the Power, to Bands of Maker, the the scamming and boosting, and you'll see the degradation or devaluing if other corporate interests or uh, the standard changes. Standards can change, but they shouldn't go lower. You know what I mean? Like, and so you'll see that, like, even with R&B, and then how pop, the confusion around, pop artists and R&B, and then pop taking over R&B and all this stuff. And so when you have a set definition of what the components are, then you can't really deviate from the script. Now people can say, well, rap and hip hop has a set definition. They have elements, but there's not really set definition or institutional bodies of enforcement, because though it was created by those so-called Black Americans or so-called Negroes, you see that there's being a creative, having creative control is not the same as ownership. And then, do they even have creative control at this point? So the ownership aspect to enforce the definitions of what hip hop elements are or were, to be honest, they're still there. It's just that there's no definition guardrails around um, the the lyrical aspects. And so that's why you see up here where it says lyrics, storytelling, encouragement, anagrams or codes, a message. And so if someone is saying ultra, and when we say it's storytelling, yeah, somebody might have to be able to express their life story, and it may be painful. It may not be something that's like the most like, or they may tell us childhood, something happened, so you have to understand that too. But storytelling, as far as, oh, we went to the strip club and then we beat her over the head with a bottle and we took her home and we did this. No, don't nobody want to hear all that. That's not allowed in the ultra brand of the ultra genre of music. I'm telling you that right now. That's not allowed. Anagrams and codes, if you have mantras or repetitive phrases, sure. A message, yes. What is that message? A message, generally these are angelic messages. It's not meant to be like, you can be truthful. Message usually equals something truthful. So it could be something that could be uncomfortable. It could be a mirror being reflected back on society, but it's truthful. Could be something, as long as it's a message that's truthful, whether it's sounds good or it feels good to say, that's not really even important. So now let's see, temporary creative framework characterized by I think we already covered that. Integration. Okay, so let's see, composition may be classified as Outre when it incorporates. Okay, so yes, let's look at the core characteristics. For the most part, we already covered this, but let's have it in front of you. You can take a screenshot of this. And composition may be classified as Outre when it incorporates one or more of the following lyrical elements: narrative storytelling, inspirational or encouraging themes, social, philosophical, historical, or cultural messaging, symbolic language, coded expressions, ideograms, or interpretive lyrical devices, and then repetitive mantras or phrases designed to reinforce thematic meaning. Okay, so an outre composition may also include one of the following musical characteristics. So let's read this: fusion of multiple music genres within a single work, eclectic or unconventional instrumental sound design rather, Babula inspired rhythmic influences, polyrhythmic structures involving simultaneous contrasting meters, beat switches that intentionally alter the musical direction, multi-movement or multi-part song structures, medley style transitions between distinct musical sections or complete compositions. And so that's something to, think of. And so Outre is founded on the principle that music can function simultaneously as entertainment, education, artistic exploration, and intellectual expression. Every structural change and rhythmic variation, a lyrical device, and stylistic transitions to serve as an intentional artistic objective rather than exist solely for novelty or even for money, rather. And so it's about creative risk taking. Okay. And so, as far as classification standard, no single musical element independently defines an Outre composition. Instead, the classification is based upon the overall artistic integration of its defining characteristics. So, an Outre work should demonstrate intentional innovation in both musical structure and expressive content while maintaining a cohesive artistic identity. So, Outre is intended to remain an evolving genre that welcomes creative expansion. Okay, you guys get the point. So, this is something now we're going to take a look at an example. We're going to go to uh, my song, Negro, and we will look at that song together. Oh, that's the wrong one. So that we can look at exactly what I'm doing as far as lyrics. And so let's go here. Okay. And then we'll look at meaning as well. Expand as far as the Bible. So let's share this tab and make sure that it is sharing. Okay. Okay, so you see where it says this are the lyrics. So the chorus, you have a chorus and a bridge, and then you have an outro. So it's not really like lyrics in a traditional sense, but you see the lyrics pretty much, or chorus rather. But what's more important is the actual meaning behind the song, because it's a conceptual song. And so let's read it. It says, this song was inspired from when I was reviewing patent control numbers of various inventors. Well, they say that these are pretty old patent control numbers, so it would say Negro near the name, as well as reviewing genealogy records that had the word Negro on them. And so that melody and harmony came to me in the dream, which is true. And so when you see the raw data of where it was reported, it was like reported at like 4 a.m. in the morning, and it's real makeshift. And then I went back to bed after recording it on like a phone, and then had to turn my phone back off, and then went back to bed. And so here we talk about like frequency of words and then anagrams. And so we're not really concerned with the etymology or even the definitions or arguing whether or not this is the proper term. We are aware it could be a misnomer. Okay, like, oh, okay, we shouldn't use that's a misnomer, but it's on a lot of people's death certificates and birth certificates, including a lot of family members. If you look at your genealogy records, you might have saw this term on some of your ancestors' paperwork as well. And so we're using this term Negro, believe it or not, is good for documentation purposes to preserve a history that the U.S. government currently tries to erase. And so, within the last 200 years, the U.S. government has classified. They keep reclassifying people, and they make it seem like they're organic classifications, but they're not. None of them, even the ones today that people try to use, they're not organic classifications. They either have NSA, CIA involvement, um, MIC involvement, or unfortunately, it is for long term plays, stuff that can't be caught until like 50, 100 years from now, 150 years from now. And that's how they move. That's how they work. But um, being classified on a federal level close to 6 times in the last 150 years is just not normal. That's not normal. So even when they do it today, people should go on alert. And then you see the people that are pushing it, and you realize, okay, who's their backing, who's their funding, what do they say, what do they speak up against, what do they not speak up against? Can you get them to stand on certain things? So you get them to speak out. You don't get, and you're not able to get that. Then that usually is some sort of psyop, even if there's legitimacy around what bore the movement. It's most likely some sort of hijacking or controlled opposition to dissuade people from actual from what a cause actually was or what it stood for. Usually when that happens, you'll see a watering down of a thought or a movement or a concept. Unfortunately, that's what happens. And so today you see, these different movements pop up or acronyms pop up, and I don't think that they're organic at all. In fact, I have a lot of evidence to prove they're not. But then this term Negro, which is also a government classification, had existed before it became a classification, and particularly with what's used by the Moors in Spain and in Ireland, the Jacobean Moors in Ireland as well. And so it does transcend the actual federal classification. And so when you study the ways in which the Moors were using it, that becomes even more interesting from my perspective. Whether you think it's a misnomer or not, we can talk about that, of course. But what I'm saying is that this was a sort of classification before the U.S. government used it to describe the so-called Black American. And so the term we know Negro was used in Ireland and Spain, and this comes from like a Naga chieftain. So this is pretty much you can call it, people call him a Black European or a more, but it goes deeper than that. And so now we're talking about the frequency of the word Negro, using whether you want to use Hebrew science, and really, I mean, you don't really need Hebrew science to understand what an anagram is, but they knew that as far as other people coming down for the future generations, they would have to decode those frequencies using those anagrams as that classifier. And then knowing that this term is on earth-based records, birth certificates, death certificates, and denoting that it is a reclassification, and it's still rooted in a historical context of chattel slavery. You can look at that as human trafficking, because it is human trafficking. Also, migration pattern. That migration pattern um, could be a mixture. So that could be someone who is enslaved on their own land, someone who's brought from Africa, or someone who's brought from Europe. Okay, because Europe had indentured servitude, and so many that whether people want to admit that or not, um, you have genealogy records that can prove that. I've met people that have the actual boat records from Europe. I'm talking about Black Americans of where they ancestors came from. They have the boat records, not just slave ledgers. We're talking about the boat record from the specific boat record over from Ireland. And so this is stuff that people don't like to talk about for whatever reason. But when we talk about human trafficking, or the imprisonment of indigenous and admixture of specific bloodlines, that to protect a certain bloodline, but also to, in many instances, track and stalk a bloodline and even bind a bloodline. And so you have to counteract that. You have things that would hide it under cover for a future time, so that another being could be it will make it easier but to trace what happened, why it happened, and um, be able to see the pattern for themselves, because genealogy can show a pattern. Like, people rely on DNA to do that, but genealogy can show a very streamlined migration pattern through surnames and coats of arms and through the history around a specific area. You can get a lot of information about a specific area. So we talk about, like, if your name's in the Domesday Day book, and then you have a certain specific coat of arms, and then you see the Norman conquest of 1068 or 1088, and then you see the migration from Ireland into Britain, and then you see that from Britain into America, the context of that, of which that takes place. And then if you keep going further and further, you may notice it could be tied to some priesthood. It could be tied to a order, a bloodline, um, a knighthood, a military, uh, a military rule. You will see that within your coats of arms. Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's just, like, say you have the last name Cartwright, could be your family made wheels. Sometimes your last name is Shoemaker because your family literally made shoes. Sometime what's another one that was a cool one that I saw? Oh dang, it was something that had to do with collection of hay. And the guy told me his last name, and so we looked it up. It was something with grain, and come to find out, his family just did grain in the 1800s. Like, sometimes it literally just tells what the heck your family did or does. Like, my last name being Nunn, it's like, okay, N-U-N come from, more the primordial sense of Quebec. But if you look at N-U-N-N, that's like, okay, that's somebody from military priesthood, or also like a literal nun, the studious monastic aspects of studying um, mystical texts or spiritual texts or religious texts. That's literally what the bloodline has been doing. So you have to look at that, in your own names, you know. Um, what did some of these that's cool ones? I'm trying to think of that. Trying to think of any. Um, so, but you guys could do that on your own with your own surname, and it does matter. A surname is just not given to someone in happenstance, especially if it is attached to a coat of arms. Okay, so it's important to be aware of that. And so when we talk about the anagrams of Negro, you see the root word of org, meaning impulse or excitement. In Negro, you see this word org. And so when you see Negro, you can look at that as organ, but it has the same frequency of the words origin and organ with the A, right? And so origin is the beginning, root, source, or cause from which something arises or derives. It broadly describes the state of a process, a person's ancestry, or the geographical birthplace of an object. The word organ means a specialized function structure made of different types of tissues working together to perform a specific job in the body. In the hierarchy of life, organ sits between tissues. So the next one you have is orgone. So orgone energy is popularized by Wilhelm Brecht in the 1930s, and it's pretty much like universal life force. And so you can make organite objects, crafted from resin, metal shavings, and crystals. So you always see the organite crystals that you can get. They're usually made with some sort of tourmaline, black tourmaline, obsidian, quartz of sorts, amethyst. You can even use uh, I want to say you can even use some types of resins, but I think you need to have like some sort of hypoxy over it to make sure. I know you have to use some sort of hypoxy, something of that nature. You can use copper too. Metal shavings is usually some sort of copper or silver, so it's energy movement, it's universal life force. So when you say neo, you see with Negro, it has the word neo in it. And then you add the bro, you can change that to an A. It has the same frequency. You can also add an H, and you still have the same frequency. And so that the word neo means new, young, fresh, or recent. Okay. And so where is that from? It's a prefix like Neonite or Neolithic to denote a modernized, revised, or newly created version of an older concept. So um the word gra, which is like the same frequency as grow, it refers to love in Irish Gaelic. So it's like saying fresh love. And notice the verse is about separating the chaff from the wheat. And Gra also means women in Albanian culture. So Gra in Hebrew is a famous acronym, which stands for Gayam Rabanu Ila Yahu, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And that translates to the genius sage. Now, this is a huge code right here for people that are truly Hebrew. They should know this right here. And I would have to talk about this stuff offline in order to make the connections to show them about like seraphims. I will have to show them something, but I will have to do it offline, actually. But if you are well deep into some really cool mystical studies, um, don't sleep on it. Okay. So now we have Negra. So Negra, is the female version of Negro, and that's in Spanish and Portuguese, and it serves as an adjective for black woman. But it's widely also used as an affectionate nickname term of like similar to saying darling or honey. So then you have one, and then you have grow again, one, or you can add the A. You can add an A to a GR. The word Negro also contains the word one. So let's say the root word of one indicates a chemical compound belonging to the ketone family, and it derived historically from the word acetone. So it's widely used in organic chemistry to designate a molecule with specific oxygen attachments, just like testosterone or progesterone. And so in etymology, this was used as a feminine suspect, meaning daughter of, as seen in the word animal, daughter of the wind. And so these are all anagrams of the word Negro. But also, one is uni, a unis, which equals uni. And so that's where you get like unicorn, uniform, unity. One cause or function is what unity means. A unicorn, a mythical creature with one horn. Uniform, union, the act of making one out of different parts. Unison, singing or playing together, one. Okay. And then you also see containing the CO group, Negroes, blacks, also equals melanin. So you see that right there too. And so all of this, believe it or not, obviously I can't use all of this, but this is what all of this, the chorus and this bridge is pretty much me saying all of this, but I can't put that in a song. It'll be too long and it won't rhyme. But that's all what that means. So Ray, so you can also you with let's go to the next one. So you have Ray and then OGN. And so Ray is a word for sun. So you say sun, Oregon, play on morning stars. So sun, this is a play on morning stars. You have Ray Nog. So that also means sun again. And then you have no God in Hebrew, which means brightness, radiance, splendor, to break a day. So it derives from a root meaning to shine. It represents a burst of light or a new beginning. The etymology of Nog primarily points to the 17th century English term for a strong, highly alcoholic ale brewed in Norfolk. So remember how people live on Norfolk Street in Buffalo, New York? How many of how Norfolk and Buffalo is nothing but black folks, just so you know. Okay. And so while its absolute origin remains a mystery, historians and linguists connected to two primary theories. Remember, alcohol is also referred to as spirits. So Nog also means king or ruler from Proto-Germanic. Okay, so let's go ahead. Raygon. Ray means also sun again, and then gon comes from the ancient Greek word gonia, which meaning angle or corner. So it's used in mathematics and geometry to form names of plane figures that have a specific number of sides and angles because this ties back to the Proto-Indo-European root genu or genu. It is distinctly related to the English word knee, see, knee, Knee, and then Negro. What's in knee? What's knee? And then you see Negro. So that is somebody that is intentional. That is somebody that's an actual bloodline or craftsmanship that knew a time traveler pretty much that knew, okay, yeah, we know that the Morse point with this term Negro in Ireland and Spain. We know that it's about to be a misnomer. We take our ass over to the US, we're gonna have the US government put that on federal documentation for purposes of someone being able to decode it better. Okay, Jesus government was doing what forming element meaning angle, corner. Angle also is a code for angel. Remember, Sun Ra told y'all were the fallen angels in the 60s. He told Blaque America that, and because people laugh at him, and he told y'all was gonna have to rectify that for playing him. And he said he had a right to his opinion. But remember, Sun Ra had already told y'all that y'all was the angels. He said, "I know that I'm an angel of the." I know that I'm a member of the angel race. My home is out there in outer space because he knew that y'all was trapped down here. So he was trying to tell you, I know that I'm an angel of I know I'm a member of the angel race. That's what he was telling you. And then remember, he said, I told them the truth, but even when I told them the truth, they don't believe me because they like to lie. So I told them that they was the angels, but they don't want to believe me. So that's what I told y'all. That's what he meant. Angel, cornerstone. You ever heard of cornerstone? From going your corner angle from the pi root, genu, need, angel, negro. It's right in front of y'all, son. But you had to commit. You had to understand some shit. Put it all together. So in biblical Hebrew, gon means pride, majesty, exaltation. In rabbinic literature in modern Hebrew, it is used as an honorific synonym for genius, most commonly denotes a socio-political entity, nation, or people with boundaries, customs, and a shared destiny. Now, I know I'm one of the pioneers of the delineation movement. I do not agree with any acronym, though, because I know that the tribe of Judah is that God don't allow you to use any acronym besides what is on the documentation, because those are purebreds that set it up that way. So a lot of people say they American Indian, they Negro, Blaque American. I spell it BLAQUE for gematria and astrology, astronomical reasons. Okay, but you spell it the way you want to spell it, because I know what the federal government did on paper, on what they do. It's nothing but spiritual warfare and witchcraft in real time. So you have to undo the witchcraft. Okay, so um, when you say that you want people or a nation or a special part of people, you have been delineated for the last 100 of you have been delineated since the Domus Day book, just so you know, as a Black American. So that's why when we were saying it, we are talking about like more of a on a tribal lines as far as a bloodline. And then, of course, you cannot put everybody in that because everybody has their own specific genealogy. Some people don't have uh, that, some people have different admixture. And you can't tell an American Indian that they're going to have ties to the tribe of Judah or a Negro. It may not relate to them. They may not understand what you're talking about. And so I'm saying if you're in that Domus Day book, if you have a coat of arms that date back to the Black nobility or nobility itself, and particularly from Scottish Ireland, and even you can even go Britain as well, then I'm telling you that you have already been delineated. It's a fact. You don't need like, and my thing is that still leads that you're still charged with empire building and parallel infrastructure building even more once you go that route. Just so you know, the equation won't work no other way. It is the equation-based vector space and is a depth vector space. Hence ravens, hence lots of codes. So many codes that fly over people's head, including the word Negro and its ties to ravens and crows, and the biblical definition, how Elijah with the ravens. Remember, the raven was messenger that fed him in the woods, and then Noah using the raven to check to see if the water levels was down. These are all codes. Yes, ravens tied to Negro, just so you know. Yes, it does. Absolutely. And you think of raven, do you think of what raven means? That black, beautiful raven, black crow. What is that? What is it? What do they do? They're ancestrals. They guardians of their massive gatekeepers to spiritual mysticisms. Don't just look at them. Oh, they I know that they say they scavengers something like that. No, the raven and the crow is actually extremely intelligent. One of the most intelligent. It's actually illegal to own them because you can teach them to steal money. You can teach them to. They was using crows to distribute drugs in America. Yes, they was, and they got caught. They was. You teach a crow, this is money. When you see this, you take this and you bring this back to my motherfucking ass. And they would have the crows that did no lie. The dude was sending the crows out. They would go send the crows out um to around that ATM machines. Them ATM machines where you go and pull that money out, and the crow and that raven, when that come out that machine, you use that beak, you snatch that money out their hands, and you come back and fly to me. And they were doing this, and so that's why they made it illegal to own crows and ravens because they're too intelligent. They are extremely intelligent. You can train them. They bring gifts to your mouth. They do. They will bring you gifts, and you can Google this. They will bring you a gift every morning. If they fuck with you and you feeding them and you let them, you ain't trying to keep them in no cage, right? But they fuck with you the long way. A crow and a raven will bring your ass a gift every day, just off GP. It could be a coin. They know that. Okay, you train me. You said you like shiny things, so Let me go. I found a penny on the ground. I found the dime on the ground. And they'll go and they'll bring that to you in the mornings. And then one time a crow would fly to a human's house who was feeding him every day with the little bird bath thing. They probably have a little bird bath. And he would come every day and he could fly inside the house and fly out whenever he wants. So he was able to fly inside. He felt comfortable enough to fly inside the dude's house. And he would go and get that hat with his mouth, with the beak. Take the hat, put it on the person's head, then go and get the damn car keys and bring it and bring it and drop it so he could, put it in his hand because he realized every time he would go to work. The raven would only come right before he go to work. Make sure you put your hat on. He would put his hat on his head and then get the car keys for him, and he realized, okay, you're doing this every day. This is a little pattern. And it's because he felt grateful. Okay, you keeping that food up in that bird bath out in the backyard for me. So I fucks with you for that. And then it comes in the house. You could train it a little bit. And you can, um, but you're not allowed to own them. But then they found pigeons are smart too, believe it or not. A lot of people pigeons used to be one of the big time, mail carriers. But these are animals that get kind of demonized, like, oh, I don't want no pigeon and pigeons and this and then oh, crows and ravens. Oh, that means death, darkness. Ooh, that means death coming. Don't they tell you that? No. And so for those who were confused when Sunra was saying make friends with death and no one would mess with you. And remember, he was telling this. He said, who cares? They want to say that. Who cares? Because he knew what the federal government had did with their legalese. And he said, well, um, everything bows down to death in terms of its majesty, because everything is going to die, including a plant, an animal, a human, a mammal, amphibian, reptile, whatever. Everything has its expiration date. And so he was telling Black Americans, if you can become friends with death, no one will mess with you. That's when he gave you the example of the rattlesnake, trying to tell y'all the Nagas beings, y'all the angels, y'all need to figure this shit out. Trying to tell you some game. Okay, and so when he said the rattlesnake, it's very direct. Snakes are very direct, but people say that they give cobras and snakes very bad name, right? And say, "Oh, you snake me, you snake me." That's not what a snake would do. A snake is actually very direct with your ass, very direct. And when you think of all the other animals, that pretty much if an animal is using any sort of camouflage biology, um, a lot of sea creatures, believe it or not, octopus can be very deceptive. That's the when you think of animals being deceptive, like there are so many animals that do that, and it's actually snakes are not actually one. Snakes are actually very direct unless they got camouflage capabilities. If a snake does not have camouflage capabilities, they are very direct. They send warning shots when they about to bite your ass. They send warnings. Rattlesnakes do it. That's why they give you the alarm. Back the fuck up. The snake go. Then they see that rattle. Back up. I have poison. Back up. I can bite you and kill you. Back up. Then you see the cobra too. Cobras also send a message. Once you see that hood, bloop, bloop, back up. I'm letting you know. I'm actually a peaceful motherfucker. I actually mind my fucking business. But you're getting a little too close. Back up. When you see that hood, when you see that stand up like that, back on up. Back the fuck on up. So they're very direct before they bite. They don't just you have unless you step on it. If you don't accidentally stepped on it, oh, I didn't see it. No, don't try to get on that damn because it got ties to dark wisdom and the divine feminine. So of course, anything that has to do with divine feminine, they always demonize on this planet. And so now y'all want to chastise and say, "Oh, y'all snake me, you snake me." No, a snake is very fucking direct. So what other animal is you talking about? Well, what other animals are you talking about? Because there are a lot of animals that are extremely intelligent and they have to be deceptive to survive. Even insects. Some insects have camouflage capabilities. Octopus will deceive your motherfucking ass, will trick you. So you got to think of that. You got to look at that. You research that. Like which animals trick human, which animals have to trick in order to survive. What animals trick each other to make sure they like the gazelle and the antelope. So it's a lot of stuff. Okay. So when Sarah said, make friends with death and no one would mess with you. Nobody. That was his exact words. He said, nobody. Then he said, Do anybody mess with a rattlesnake? It's deadly, but it send you a warning. It ain't his business. It don't bother nobody. A rattlesnake don't go and bother nobody. A rattlesnake is not coming around bothering you. You went around bothering it. You went around bothering them, trying to keep the and they showed you their little tail going back and forth, and they bite your ass, and then they kill your ass. Do you want to sit? You snake me. You snake. No, you went around them. That's how it goes. You fucked with them. Didn't want to play victim. It don't work that way. And so that's a really bad example because, like I said, a cobra is very direct with your ass. These are very direct species when it comes to when they're gonna attack you. They don't. You're gonna know they're gonna attack you. Even a cat is more deceptive. You ever seen how they show in even the Lion King when they show that big ass lion, hiding, and then they go and get their prey, and what they go pouncing on them. They pounce on them to get them down, but they hiding, and then they go pounce. So there's other animals that you could use in it as an example. Snake is a bad one, but a lot of people don't know that. I guess they go use it's coming from the biblical, from the serpent. But again, do I break this down online? Probably not. Um, eh, I'll say this: read the Book of Kings. I think it's either uh first, Second Kings or First Kings. I want to say it's chapter 20 or chapter 21. When we talk about Moses with them serpents, read that. Read Isaiah and verses about them seraphs and those are serpentine fiery. But read that part where they say, well, Moses, um, God sent serpents in to kill them, and then they had to, God, Moses intercedes with God, and then God says, "Well, here's this staff that's like a serpent. When they see it, the serpent that bite them is the serpent. When the serpent bite them, they ain't gonna die, ain't gonna get killed. You ever pay attention to that? Because they were not God's beings. You got to pay attention. It's right in front of y'all. It's right in front of y'all. So here we dealing with serpents again. That's in the Book of Kings. Then go to the New Testament where it says, "You shall take up snakes and they will not bite you." They're talking about a very specific bloodline of Nagas beings that dates back to what the Moses thing. So for people who want to even use Genesis, as far as the serpent and Adam and Eve to demonize snakes, you lose your plot and you lose your credibility when you do that, because all throughout the book there are snakes. I'll give you another one where it says, just like a serpent, Yeshua will rise. Just like how a serpent rise, Yeshua will rise. Didn't I tell you how Yeshua was in the order of serpents and the dragon riders? Didn't I tell you what that stuff means as far as when you say rise, ascension, just like a serpent. And we talk about the magic, the bloodline science around serpents and serpentine. Whether you call it Kundalini, that's probably not the best name for it because that's the Eastern version. But guess what? That science created the Eastern Shakti school of thought. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Hebrew science, and I have the documentation to prove it. For anybody that called me out on that, which I don't teach that stuff online anymore. I was told not to go like off, not by. I'm talking about my higher self, pretty much, not by any human or anything, but like my higher self. Like some information gets too desecrated, and then people are too brainwashed to understand it anyway. So there's no point in teaching that type of stuff. It's wild. So, but for those who don't understand that's using it, this is what's messing y'all up. Because in one context, everything, and then I could also bring in the codes of it's contextual, and I can go get the verses in the Bible to prove that it's contextual in terms of um, whether you whether a serpent when a serpent is auspicious and when a serpent is inauspicious. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. People go deep. I'll smack your ass over the head with it. I'll smack your ass over the head with it, and you won't be able to do nothing because it's right there in front of you. Because you have to follow logic, and the equation is always logic. And if it ain't logical, you either interpret it wrong, or you don't know what you're doing, or you're not of that blood. Simple as that. And that's what you have to remember, Black Americans, when people try to do that to you. Because you always sit around asking, well, why don't nobody like us? Why don't nobody like us? Well, do you even like yourself? But more importantly, um, there is very cosmic, ancestral damn near galactic reasons why motherfuckers don't like us. And when we breaking these things down, it's not to obviously you see what's going. You see majesty, exaltation. You see there's elements of royalty. You see where we going with this. You broke down the anagrams of Negro right in front of you. Did any of it sound negative? No. Did any of it? And we still got to kill some more ways to go. So let's actually keep continuing. So we don't have to sit here so long. So we got Rogan. The term Rogan primarily refers to the German noun for fish roe, fish eggs. So everybody know in Hebrew, uh, well, for as far as Yeshua's bloodline, tribe of Judah, fish. Fish is always a symbol for the divine feminine in a woman. Okay, and so it traces back through the middle High German to the Old High German Rogan, into ultimately rooted in the Proto-Germanic. Okay. So notice fish is in the age of Pisces. Remember, Yeshua in the age of Pisces referred to the feminine or a reference to Christ as the fisher of men. Okay, now Rogan is a masculine name, obviously, but it does have possible Celtic or Germanic origins as well. So in Celtic context, it may translate to the Irish surname Rogaine, meaning descendant of Rogan, little Roy. Now, how many people got the last name, got the name Roy? Now we say you move the R out, you put the R back in there, but it's Roy, Roy. Mostly what we see. How many of you got the name Leroy? Hmm? 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 How many of you have the name Leroy? You most likely is a hidden Hebrew that don't even know it. And so you see the term Rogan. Okay, so we got that fish that's always of the divine feminine. And again, this bloodline, when we talk about the ones that migrated from the Niger area into Kemet, into Greece, into Rome, this is a bloodline order. This is not just some. This is a tribe that's keeping track of motherfuckers like you ain't never seen before. Surnames, understand language like you ain't never seen before. Can understand multiple languages like you have never seen before. You're not, there is no infiltration. When the Queen Mothers told them not to leave, but they still left. And when they said, well, you're gonna have to keep track. We got methods to keeping track, is what they say. It's still up in disaster, but they still knew how to keep track of who was who. Okay. So from Rome, they go into Ireland, which is where you see the remnants of Tartarian science. That's why you see the elements of Tartarian science, bells, and those geometric patterns. Bring it into Tartarian, kind of like, the word hills. Notice in the Bible, and I could break this down too, we're talking about hills a lot. Those are dimensions, like levels of dimensions that are portals that humans won't be able to see with their naked eye. Okay. And so when Tartaria reached on the highlands of the hills, that means they went to another dimension. They cloaked their damn dimension pretty much. Okay. And they've been doing this. When they Moses say, you will not enter my rest. Y'all gonna be wanderers in this room because you did it, which is harsh. It's harsh, right? But pretty much he's saying, you're not going to you're not going where our ancestors said. That's pretty much what the fuck that means. And for those who got access and have seen where they are, the high vibrating ones, because you got intrinsic spirits, you got all types of stuff that's running around here too. You got intrinsic spirits. They may not be, they're not at no high level. They drank when they was living, they drinking on it, they looking for something to drink on the other side too. Okay. When we say highlands and the land of the inheritance of the fathers, and again, for people who say, you're not supposed to do ancestral worship, you want me to go pull out the book? You want me to go pull out the Bible on your ass about these ancestral dimensions? You will not enter my rest, which means you are not entering the land of our fathers. That's what Moses said. You are not entering my rest. You're going to be wandering in this room. Pretty much lost souls. Lost souls to recycle and you will reincarnate on planet Earth. That's pretty much what he told. I don't agree with it. You may not like it, but it's the truth. And it did happen. Same with Isaiah and Jeremiah, when Jeremiah told y'all, they took the story of how they killed Jeremiah out, didn't they? Did they not? Because he used psychotronic radionics, which is a Masonic technique. Mind you, they didn't put that in the Bible. Same with Isaiah. They didn't tell you that Isaiah got murdered. We don't know how they died, right? They got killed by their own people, just so you know. And so, you know, I don't agree with it as far as the harshness, but God's judgment, I won't say it's God's judgment. It's a chieftain's judgment, and chieftains have a lot of power, and chieftains answer to God. And so, if they felt like that was what they wanted to do or needed to do, that's what they felt. Good thing is you could always break a curse, right? But it wasn't God cursing them; it was their chieftains, like prophets of God, angels of God, and people get carried away. It's true. Get carried away, clearly. Um, so that's we see those terms hills or highlands or um, you see like this cryptic talk that just don't make sense. It's usually talking about another some sort of dimension that's cloaked that you don't have access to. And so that's why people that are aware of that, they're not going to play. You could find this in African literature too, or Kibbalan literature rather. I have some evidence of that. Like they're talking about like these different levels of heaven and different levels of worlds and underworlds. There, that is very much well known in a lot of ATR. Very cryptic. I mean, I think it's a book from like the 1800s. I got some books from the 1600s too, where some of these tribes, Kibbalan, they're very much aware of this, and they have some of their prophets and some of their that could go back and forth and see, like, okay, well, in this realm, and it was pretty much given a description of how it all looks. Now it matches up precisely with what's in that book, and that tribe that I've looked at happens to be in that Niger area, like I said, which is the Snake Got River area, right in that Niger area. They just happen to have the same descriptions that you can find. Hmm? Everybody think that's a coincidence, and to this day, you still see Levitical priesthood over in that area. Yeah, I think I know what I'm talking, and it's right there in front of you. It's right there. It blow your mind. Um, because it's the same descriptions. It's just um it's their version of theirs. They have like different types of secret societies. And see, there's the disagreement once again between, Hebrews don't believe, oh, you had these idols and all these stuff. But see, you say a tribe, they'll have the same science, but they'll do idols. And so that tribe will stay away from. That's where a lot of this tribalism comes from. Because it's like, when you do idols, you do y'all wearing wigs, y'all we ain't allowed to. Isaiah hated the wig stuff. And so they went to go intercede because it's like, well, the women want to wear some rouge. They see what the other girls are doing, the other tribes of girls. They want to do what what the Canaanites are doing. They want to do what the Sumerian girls are doing. And so it's like, but here's the thing: you give people an inch, they take them out. Okay, maybe you can wear a little rouge, maybe you can wear a little, but then they take it, the little turquoise in your hands and shit, little bracelet, and then the next thing you know, and you see to this day how these women are looking, and the excuses they give for it, but now it's like the drag queen look, where it's like, it went from 90s, 80s look. And my thing is, they talking about the 90s, oh, y'all 90s fine, whatever. Why ain't women saying you a 50s provider? Why y'all just sitting there trying to look for their validation? Who cares about 90s fine? You a good looking motherfucker. Look, everybody looks good when they natural self. The most beautiful you gonna be is when you're your natural self. But that also don't mean you can't have enhancements. And so for me, I think for me, it's more so like, man, as long as for me, how do I say this? Because I do believe that most people look better when they natural self, and it can be off putting when you see all of this crazy looking wigs, crazy looking lashes, crazy looking makeup, it just don't look. You could tell like it's like what the heck, and you don't even know how they really look. And so I get where people is going with it, but like I said, I think that time and place. If you're afraid to go outside or afraid to do, without the lashes and without the wig and without the makeup, the 20 pounds of makeup, then that might be something deeper rooted going on. But if you just want to dress up and go about your business, go about your day, that's your business. That's how I feel. But I see now it's like there's no originality around the look. Everything is the huge lashes, the straight, uh, the lace front wig that's supposed to be straight at the top and then wavy curly at the bottom. That's not even your hair texture at all. Um, the exaggerate, and I love baby hairs, but it's always something exaggerated. It's not even baby hairs, it's just hair glued onto the sides. Like this is not baby hairs, and a lot of when the 90s, when we would do baby hairs, that shit would shrivel up throughout the day. Yeah, it looked cute. We put the jam on it, black and sassy on it, little Ampro gel. We had Ampro gel. I remember that black Ampro gel. We put a little bit of that on the baby hairs, and it's still crinkly, right? And it gonna be bone straight. And so that's why a lot of the girls they like to perm they're perming their edges to get it bone straight. And I had stopped doing it. So like because my edges like for some reason the rest of my hair is motherfucking like 3B, 3A. These edges are like 4Z. I don't know how that happened. But you put some jam on it and lay it down, yeah, it's gonna crinkle up. Yeah, it's gonna look like a regular crinkle, but it looks really pretty that way. And so I said, well, how does I just because I said, well, we were in the 90s and we would have that little look and the hair would be laid down. We always had that hair laid down with that amber gel, but it wasn't slick. It wasn't. It would not be like today they have the lace front wigs that have the baby hairs on them, but they're straight. So when you lay it down, it's really long, abnormally long, and then you have to swipe it over with the gel, and it's super straight, slick. And so then that's how girls want their hair to be when they do baby hairs, and that's not natural. When you do your baby hairs and you lay them down with the Ampro gel or the jam, what's it? They got edge control these days. They got the edge control these days. And it will stay, it will be slick, but it ain't going to be straight. It's going to do some type of crinkling up, and it's going to look really pretty that way because it's refreshing. I was like, you know what, this looks refreshing. It's different. I'm gonna stick with this. I like the way this looks. I don't even care, but I still like the glam look too. And so they talking about this 90s fine thing, everything's about trends, right? So what I would tell these ladies, don't worry about their validation or switching up what you want to do. Do what you do you. But most likely, um, you probably overdoing it. Let's be real. Y'all out here looking like drag queens. And somebody need to say it. They do look like drag queens, a lot of them. And when you take all that stuff off, they look very basic. And so, you know, I think it's about trying to um hide the very average looks by putting all this stuff on, and everybody looks the same, and so I think that's really all it is, because in 90s you actually had to look good and have a decent, a cute ass face on some level without the makeup, back then to be popular at least, or to be considered pretty. To be considered pretty, you ain't gonna have it, but they still wore makeup. But to the ladies, I would say don't worry about their motherfucking validation in no way. Because they talk about they want 90s fine, they want 90s fine, and we want 50s providers. That's what you say back. I want 50s providers. Oh yeah, you a 50s provider. Bring your motherfucking ass over here. Yeah, yeah. You a 50s provider. Okay. Yeah. That's what I like. Just like how they said, oh, you 90s fine. You ain't got all that lace front wig, you ain't got all that makeup on. Oh, you ain't got all this. And your response back is you a 50s provider. We could go toe for toe since y'all want to be shallow and worried about people's looks all the damn time. But you shallow asses. That's what you say, ladies. Okay. To me, it's about your heart and your character, because them licks gonna fade anyways. So I've never been one to want to use my looks to do so. I probably should have in retrospect, but I've always been kind of shy in that aspect. I was never that girl that want to show the booties off like that, or the boobies and stuff. So I've always been shy in that regard. But I would tell these girls, I'm looking like, why are y'all? I was so upset. They had they this viral thread, and all these women. They said they want the 90s look, and they literally contemplating, are y'all gonna change y'all looks for these niggas? And I get it, what they saying, because y'all do look ridiculous with all them crazy ass wigs on your head and them lashes on your head and all that makeup on. But do you change just because someone is doing? And my thing is, I say, I had been doing that natural, trying to be, because it's an ancestral thing. I heard my ancestors saying to that other side, we about the natural beauty. This was a year ago when I started when I stopped. You can see the difference in some of my photos where I took off the makeup and stuff. And I still wear makeup, don't get me wrong, but I felt that from my ancestors, not because of 90s fine shit. I'm not shallow like that. Like my ancestors really like, yo, we on our in our dimension, we do natural. The most high made you, now you enhancements, whatever, we don't judge it, but you ain't gonna be sitting there putting all that shit on every fucking day just to go outside. We telling you that right now. Because when you come over to the other side, none of that shit matter. Looks won't matter. The money won't matter. The clothes won't matter. The name brand is going to be the world of ideas, and after that is the world of emanations, and we getting rid of form. After that, you just a motherfucking pure spirit with God. Okay, so we don't have time for that. So it's more so like when you hear that call for your ancestors to kind of let all that go. It's not them trying to control you. It's more so them like pulling you out of thought forms pretty much, especially 3D shit. The look stuff is 3D. Pulling you out of that, trying to move you up higher, slowly but surely. That's all. And so that's how I looked at it a year ago when I got the message from my ancestors. Like, it's all right, it's the wig is all right and shit, but it's like you need to start getting comfortable with your natural face and your natural hair. I grew out my eyebrows for the first time in 20 years. I grew up my natural eyebrows. They still growing out too. Because I didn't remember how the natural shape was. I'm like, yo, I've been arching my motherfucking eyebrows since I was 14 years old. Not even doing a fantastic job at that. Like I wasn't even doing no immaculate eyebrow arching. I never was able to get it, like how you go to the salon and they do your eyebrows. You go to some of these ladies and they do their eyebrows amazing. Some ladies that keep their eyebrows on fleek. And so my eyebrows was never on fleek like that. I would have to get the kit, the stencil, the brush, all of that, and the pencil, the eye pencil to try to fill it. My hand for whatever reason, but I got better. But I said, you know what? I can't. I had fucked up so bad. Them eyebrows was so thin, and they looked bad. They didn't look good. I caught myself arching. I was arching them too frequently, and so I didn't realize that I was arching them to the point where they were abnormally thin. And so I got nervous. I said, "This don't look good." I had to use the pencil to I said, let me just grow this shit out and see how it look. And I said, I actually look young. When I was taking pictures, I said, I look younger with that wild eyebrow shape. The way it naturally is. Like I said, I could get used to this. I could get used to this. You know, it ain't no arch though. That's for sure. It ain't no arch. But that's what it's about. But ladies, tell these dudes, 50s providers, 50. That's what you say. No wedding, no wool. You tell these niggas you better, you better you better. That's what you say. You say 50s providers. If you want to talk about 90s, like I need you to be 90s fine. I need you to take this off. I need you to be a 50s provider, nigga. You ain't gotta say nigga. 50s provider. I want y'all to say, I better, I- oh, hashtag 50s providers, 50s, 90s fine, 50s provider. Shit. Was they providing in the 50s or was it the 40s? Yeah, usually the 50s. 50s provider. Shit, don't worry about my motherfucking looks. You ain't providing. That's what you say. You ain't even providing shit for me. But you gonna sit up there and say you want us all 90s, which, you know, it ain't being about 90s, it's about your natural motherfucking self with just very subtle enhancement. It ain't got nothing to do with the 90s. That got to do with your natural, what they was wearing. Natural hair with a little bit of maybe one or two tracks to extend the length a bit. Uh, maybe a couple of clip in the hair. They still was wearing a little weave. They weren't wearing all that wig stuff though. Then they had the more natural look, maybe a smoky eye here and there, which is very pretty too. Smoky eye, shimmer, a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of rouge and lipstick. Another thing, if you want to say for ladies who's looking for more of a natural, don't put makeup on your forehead. You know how you do your concealer, you do a little bit of a tint. Maybe you can also do it's not like full blown foundation, but it's like a cream base. What's that called? It's a cream base. It's not really foundation. it's like a lotion that has a. Let me get the name of it. Mm, it's like it's not cream foundation. It's CC cream. Is that what it's called? Cosmetic CC hydrating CC cream, and that can kind of give you it's like a lotion cream that offers a little bit of tint. Maybe that's what it's called. Let me look that up because that could be helpful for women that's trying to get up off that. It's that CC lotion. Um, yeah. Okay, so it's color correcting coverage, pretty much is what it is. Color correcting, that's what that means. So it's a skin tint makeup that combines lightweight hydration with color correcting pigments. And so that's done to neutralize redness, dullness, or dark spots. Okay. So those are all in one color correcting solution. So for ladies, you might want to look at just a simple color correcting tint. Um, and you can get some pretty natural ones without all them chemicals in it too, if you really look and willing to spend the dollars for it. Or you could just do your regular foundation. See, I use more of a natural based foundation. It's not truly natural, but it's not like I used to use a foundation that was horrific. I used to use matte. I stopped using that one and switched to something that's more um it has more natural based. But I might switch to the color one of these like tint ones too. Ones out using for natural dewy. So it gives you a natural dewy or soft focus finish. And that's really good when you're older because that matte doesn't look as good. When we were younger, we used to wear a lot of matte, right? When we were younger, the girls would wear the matte. But when you're older, you want more of a dewy look because you want the hyaluronic acid and the niacinamide, as well as like that. The hyaluronic acid is going to give you that collagen look. So you do want that soft focus finish, usually when you're older. And for those of us that naturally got that oily skin, you may still get away with using matte because you already have really oily skin in the older age. Um, but yeah, then you can get that, and that will be good for you. And then, like, say if you do wear foundation on your face and stuff, don't put it on your forehead, and that will give you a really natural look. Like even if you look at my pictures with where I do have makeup, you notice you can see the spots on my forehead because I won't put foundation on my forehead because it can line up and make you look older. And so when you put that foundation on the forehead, say if you squinch how some people you get lines of when you move your face, unless you got Botox, when you move your face, the makeup can get stuck in the lines and it can look bad. And but when you don't wear the makeup on your forehead off, just don't put no foundation on your forehead. And then you say you put it on maybe under the eyes and the cheek area or the mouth to get rid of some pigmentation or whatever. Um, you will find that can also bring out more of your natural beauty as well because you know how they call it. What's it called? The no the no makeup look where it actually uses tons of makeup. Um, I don't really care for that when we talk about natural, but there is a thing where we talk about the no makeup look that was out popular, I want to say like 10 years ago. When I was learning how to do that look, I remember being taught that you don't put the makeup on the forehead. That's one of the tricks. You don't put the foundation on the forehead. You use one layer. You don't use you can use one of them CC tints. But even in my photos, believe it or not, like there's no makeup on it on there. There's no makeup. The recent ones where I had anyone that's any of the photos that say natural beauty on them on Instagram, there's no makeup. There's no like tint or nothing. I just woke up in the morning and took those photos and put them up. I'm not saying other people got to do that because that's not, that's just something um, that I wanted to do, but I'm not advocating for other people to do that. That's because I like that look. But the no makeup look, I got a feeling maybe coming back in style. But I'm saying for y'all to do that right, it's usually a nude with a light lip liner that matches your lip color. There's usually there's not heavy contour. And so you could probably use some contour, but it's not meant to have a lot of sharp lines and sharp contrast in the face. And then there's there's usually bronzer, for the no makeup maker. There's usually a nice bronzer on the cheeks, or nice bronzer, nice bronzer on the cheeks, or maybe even a highlight, but that could be too much too. And then there's not really no, not really no rouge, but is there anything on the eyes? You could use the bronzer for your eyes, a little bit of bronzer that matches your skin color. You could put that on the eyes, and then put no makeup on your forehead. And then you could do a natural base mascara too if you want. You could do a natural mascara, which I use sometimes. And then you can also, if you don't want to put mascara on your eyes, to grow your lashes longer, you just put castor oil on them before you go to bed. Like rub a little castor oil on the folds. Not you don't have to. I'm not saying put it in your eye, but you know what I mean. Rub it on top of the eye to get it to grow longer, get your eyelashes to grow longer, be full and dark and lush. If you don't want to use mascara, you can do that too. Okay, so let's keep going with this. So we have Rogan. Okay, so let's keep going. Remember, we talked about the fish eggs. Didn't mean to get back on. Didn't mean to kind of go into a tirade about the 90s. That stuff. I was getting so worked up. I said, why are these ladies trying to change their look for them when they're not even demanding them being a 50s provider? All that, 50s provider. Well, whatever. Okay, so let's go. Keep going. In Germanic traditions, it could connect to the elements meaning fame or glory. Notice there's a lot of Negroes that have a lot of old school talent. So we're talking about entertaining Negro artists back in the day, like Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross, James Brown, Luther Franklin, etc. So in Hebrew communities, the name Rogan is sometimes used as a variant or an anglicized form of the legitimate Hebrew name Ron or Ronan. And so the root words for those names, Rosh Nun, which translate to joy, jubilation, or song. So you know how remember Sunrise song? Remember Sunrise music? I'm sorry, movie, A Joyful Noise. And this is where he gave the game and all this stuff. He was talking about a lot of stuff. A joyful noise. Okay. Now let's keep going. General. That can you change the O to an E, you get genre. And so the English word genre or originates from the French word genre meaning kind, right? Now, if you guys look at the book of Maccabean, the Ethiopian version, you notice that there's this emphasis on being a kind person versus a sinner who's going to get downstroyed into Gehenna forever, forever. J. Ross self. You heard him talking in Jamaican patois, say, yo, Ross self. They're saying like sun self. Sun is sun. And the name Ross self is RAS, which stands for the rest of Rastafari. But that's in the Bible. That's in the Ethiopian Bible. That's 1700 years old. But you notice he said they was a kind person. Like if you notice how the author was talking about Adam's kids, he said he had 60 children, and some of them was kind, so kind persons, kind. So that's where some of them was evil. Remember you said some was kind persons, and some of them was evil. But you notice this word kind comes up a lot. I thought that was hilarious in the book of Maccabean, and I'm like, it is go so hard, but it was some they speaking some real shit. And they fly over their head. I said, if anybody was reading that, they would write that stuff off because they don't know Jamaican patois for one. They can't make the connections to Ireland, and nor can they. It sound crazy. They can't make the connections to none of that. And why would it be in an Ethiopian version? They can't. They don't know all that stuff. But I was reading it. I said, whew. I mean, it just fly over people's head. It knew. I was really shocked. I was like, yo, I was shocked. I was really shocked. But I also, some of that, I'm looking like, what? They were destroyed and they and see people don't know what the coast I man mean. I man. They thinking these are all stuff you have to break down. But I said, I'm not gonna break that stuff down. No way. Now it sucks because I said if I had a church with some parishioners, I would be able to break that. When we say Nakhti Church of the Higher Self, we talk about like what the Q of defense was really supposed to be. Weekly meetups. Just think about it. Weekly meetups to learn the things that you're supposed to be on your block. Remember Q of defense? That could be preparation. foraging. Remember, it's supposed to be military science and defense, martial arts, tactical gear, gun range, and um, electricity repairing, or any other sort of skills that you have. And then remember, once a week, you meet up on your block. There's a facilitator that has the skill set to teach you these things. And you may have more than one, maybe a different facilitator per week, and whoever based on the expertise. And then remember at the end we said you give a donation, and 10%, it could be cash, preferably it could be some sort of cash or some sort of untraceable, and it could be a gift card, but most likely cash. 10% goes to the facilitator, and the rest goes for you guys to do things. So they're talking about in Gary, Indiana, 70%, 6% is black, and it's 11 days they didn't have electricity. 11 days, no electricity. There's all these black women online. We ain't got no electricity, we ain't got no electricity. For years, I have been telling them about the Q of defense, the Queen Mothership. And we broke it down on the block per block level, how to get that organized and teach these things to people in the community so they can know how to have that self-sufficiency. And so obviously electricity repair would be you got to have an electrician somewhere on your block. There is a black electrician somewhere on that block, right? Um, they would spend a couple of weeks as the facilitator to teach people how to repair electricity during blackouts or other forms of electricity during blackouts. That would have been one of the things that you would work on. I gave out the Q of defense in 2023 and in 2025 and in 2026. We broke down the whole blueprint on it on 3 videos alone. Just last month before this Gary, Indiana shit popped up, and it's been in the book since 2022. Okay, Q of defense. And then it's also been in the new book of the governance of North America. And so that would have been one per your block. And then remember we said every so many blocks you start a conglomerate. That means you got facilitators on every block that's they lead, right? Now you got you into like a platoon style. Just think how my mind is going with this. Stop. I know everybody's innate ego. It's about pride, it's about pushing each other, competition. Get her out the way so I can steal her stuff. Y'all all on that level. And that's why you will never enter the rest, okay? You'll never enter our ancestors' rest. Like, wake up. And you got facilitators on every block right now. You reiterate that. Now, out of all the facilitators on that block per block, the one with the most experience, with the most intelligence and the most wisdom and the most integrity, they become the leader of that particular zone and district. Then you reiterate it again. So now you got 5 blocks, you got 5 facilitators. Out of the 5 facilitators, there's going to be one commander over all 5 blocks. Then say move out zone district wise. Reiterate it. This is what was in the Entrusted Melanism book, just so y'all know. This stuff right here. So now you organize your community from the block level to block level. Do you reiterate it to the zone district level? Do you reiterate it to the city level, to the state? And this is what we're trying to tell Blaque America. They say, oh, they ran to who, kill this month, get her out the pain. We can't have that. We want our money. And Entrusted Melanism, this is what it was teaching. Now, this was for Africa, or Kimalon, the Caribbeans, and Blaque America. And it was based on Blaque America having their delineation movement. And so we wrote Entrusted Melanism for the fact that it was not liking Pan-Africanism anymore. And so, okay, so they delineated. We already know they're delineated. We already know who is who, and not everybody in Blaque America is a Hebrew. Be very clear about that. And so this is why we get Entrusted Melanism framework out, but it wasn't to have you guys beef it. That's why I said when I say that CIA infiltrated to derail delineation off the rails and make it something ridiculous, I meant that. I meant what I said because I knew about QM defense mission back in 2023 when I created the Entrusted Melanism book and the Black Enterprise Architecture in 2022 because I already knew where it could go. I didn't give out all those frameworks at the time. Notice in 2026, we just now giving out the QM defense, how to do it step by step by step. Nothing has been done. Here you got Gary, Indiana, 11 days. because these black women, they wanted to undermine the queen mothership. They kept being male identified, male centered, all about keeping that. I guess they figured the men would do it. And they ain't repair shit. They waiting for the white boys to come repair their stuff. The white folks got their stuff on in India. And then, I want y'all to know this because this shit pissed me off. Indiana is a red state, right? But Gary, Indiana is more Democratic. Do you know that I've seen Democrats saying, see, this is what happens when you don't vote. This is what happens when you don't vote. Trump. It's like, bitch, that's a Democratic city. Maybe not state is red, but how y'all trying to use that to politicize that based off of their suffering? This is what happened when they don't follow the cue and defense and get and be self-sufficient and learn from a black person, whether it's a black male, that was it could have been a black male electrician or a white not a white black woman electrician every week, like we said, cue and defense at the end of the facility at the end of the sessions on your block, you give everybody get a donation, and the donation is for everyone but 10%, and you count it publicly. You count it publicly. Ain't no high and no. We want to know what the fuck is on the books. And you give that publicly every week. And 10% you can calculate it right there going to that facilitator for his time. And you could, if you want to know, okay, how is that biblical? I'll go pull it up. Please do not, please, we go pull it up. And that way they're being compensated for their time and put in the curriculum throughout the week for you together. And then the rest of those funds, mind you, it's a block. That is the Nakhti church of the higher self. So when I said get back to the church, I meant the Kemet version of a circle. When Ethiopian means circle, means kinship, bond, Raylit, sun legion, morning stars. I wasn't talking about go take your ass to some ratchet ass convicted, wicked sex trafficking. You know, the stuff they doing in our churches, prosperity gospel. I wasn't talking about that. But so you did ask questions. That's the Nakhti Church of the Higher Self. QM Defense, Sun Legion, Morning Stars. What's your curriculum? That's for your block to determine. Your curriculum, obviously, maybe some spiritual tenets could be. Y'all could do scripture, or but you should also be teaching some of the things of nation building, because Hebrew science is about nation building. I didn't say Christianity. I said Hebrew science is about nation building. Okay, and so when you sit and we need Q and defense, military science, prepping, foraging. It could be doing electricity repair. Okay, we have a whole, and for those who say, well, I had an electricity course on Nakhti University in 2020 and 2021. And I have proof of that. I have the proof. It's not like I got the emails, I got the curriculum still on the drive and all of that. But when we say, so Gary, Indiana, it's on in electricity for 11 days. You follow all these charlatans, they ain't nowhere to be found. And so 10% to the facilitator, the rest go for you guys. Now, maybe you need to get hard hats. Maybe you need to get gear. Maybe you need to get freeze dried food. Maybe you need to have okay, who got a big ass basement in their house that is unused where we can store our shit? Oh, I do. Okay, you already know what we about to do. We about to get this freeze dried, and this is for the community on this block. Okay, we about to, we about to put these food. We about to take these donations, and we about to buy us some hard hats because we need some hard hats just in case the niggas got to get up in that tree and put not that tree, but on that pole and put that damn electricity on after learning. And so maybe you spend 3 or 4 weeks just teaching on electric repair. Now, if y'all don't go to it's open, it's on your block. If you don't go show up, then that's on you. But this is what we said with a QM defense for every block. And I spent 3 videos breaking it down over and over again in books. Okay, so you can't say, well, it was in book. I didn't have the money to buy it. It was free. So now when you see them on Gary, Indiana, 11 days, no electricity, crying. My kids, my daddy, don't nobody care. No white folks don't care, for one. Them Democrats, this is what happens when you don't vote. Don't try to exploit them and try to force them into voting. Because really, what you telling them is you willing to hurt them because they won't vote for no Democrat. Then they motherfucking need to leave the whole shit alone. I heard it. I saw it. Like you could vote your way out of this. Don't sit up there and try to trick them. Tell us, well, if you would have just voted, y'all wouldn't be in this mess. There's nothing but Democrats in that area. So why do they have no electricity for 11 days? But I'm gonna tell you this: this is a vector equation based space. Them Draco, they rolled out some of the black, honchos over in that area. Them Dracos, they understand the same shit I understand. Y'all said y'all founded the nation. Y'all said y'all built the nation. Y'all said y'all it's all on you. You're arrogant. You're prideful. Your ego. Well, you founded it. You said you was foundational to it. Why you don't know how to get your ass up and put that electricity back on your own block? Then? Hmm? Now? Hmm? This is what the Most High would say to you. See, that's what I say. That's why I told y'all. They said that God. Everybody else say that God is mean. They don't like to be around that God, but that God is the most protected person. When if you don't do what it say, don't complain. Don't complain. You don't do what it say. Everybody know that. Even a Keelan will tell you that. And you go to the Creator God of the universe with a pure heart, and it's an equation based, and everything is logical about intelligence and creativity and love. And you go and you come with some bullshit, then please don't come to the Most High with it. That's an equation. You said you was this. We sat out and gave your chieftain sat out and sat and toiled. Our ancestors they sat and toiled, and they come up with some really cool stuff. Even today, people coming up with really cool stuff with these Q and defense. Okay, then sat and gave you some game. Took hits after hit after hit to do it for free, and you gonna sit up there and smile and we found that we did this and we built that, and a storm comes. Force of nature. What knock you on your ass? Ain't no lights on, ain't nothing. Ain't no nothing. And you don't know how to put them lights back on, do you? You waiting for them white folks to come and put it on for you. Not only that, when it's not doing, we need to follow our man. We need to follow our man. And the tribe of Judah is not patriarchal. You're wrong. The Queen Mother, that's demonic. Oh, that's wrong. Where them niggas at putting that electricity on? Where they at? They sitting in the dark with you. And we hear that they stealing other people's generators, and we hear that they were shooting up the repairmen. It was the only thing they could think to do. These black women was scared. They sit up there, oh, I gotta hurry up and get in. Oh, I gotta make sure it's locked. Oh, I got my pepper spray. I got my mace. I got my machete. I got my gun right on the trigger. Because these niggas is running around robbing people. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. I'm shocked. I'm like, wow. The only thing you could think to do in a crisis is to go rob each other. This is what the ladies are saying. I'm not saying they do it. The ladies, I've seen the videos. They're saying that they're been robbed. Okay. And so what I'm saying is this is a mighty test. Okay. Because the QM defense was out about 3 months ago. Let's just say there was an electrician in your area. And he happened to say, how about we spend 2 weeks teaching the block, teaching the kids that show up or whoever the youth that show up, how to repair this electricity just in case they do a blackout on our ass. Or Collie J.N.S told us to get some salt. She's been saying about sort of shit about solar power for some years now. She put in a book in 2022 about fusion power. Maybe we should do, no, okay. 11 days, no electricity. And that can happen to me. So don't think I'm saying, oh, that's what y'all get. Ha ha, nana, nana, boo boo. Hell no. That can happen to my motherfucking ass. That can happen to any of us. Blackout, boom, what the fuck you gonna do? No electricity. What you gonna do? And I think about that too, you know. I don't sweat it like with me. I'm a person. I'm just gonna activate my epigenetics. I'm just what I'm gonna do. But I don't sit and worry. I don't think like that because I know that that's not. We get the spirit of boldness, not the spirit of fear. And I'm not about to see sitting up there worrying. Like they be wanting people to worry too. So you gotta be careful of that too. When you got it, you can prepare. Don't panic. Oh, they're gonna do this. Oh, they're gonna shut. No, chill. Just chill. You prepare when you get here and there, take a little extra here and there, get things you need, get sophisticated. Maybe they got the solar panel lamps, solar panel lamps, So you can get you some of those. Just even if you can't afford no big old, I can't get no big old generator, nothing like that. They got them lamps at $20 up there. You can put them in the little window, or you can put them outside, and they will you would give lights that way. You bring them in during the day, during the night, and you will have lights. I have a solar panel lamp in my bathroom that I use for my lighting when it get dark, and that thing stay charged. I probably for a whole month because I don't use it on the highest setting. I use it on just enough so I can see at night, and it with me using it on that lower setting, it lasts for a whole month before I have to charge it again. And so those things do work. We got the battery operated lanterns. How many of you got those? I got some of those. The battery operated and the lights that you can click and put on your pants while you walking, so you gotta hold it. I got some of those too with that. Take battery, AAA battery, AA battery. You got those. Solar ones, you could also do traditional candle. I got some of but at the very least you want to have at least a mechanism to warm or cook your food, filter out your water. You get you a couple of them lamps, and then heating source of some sort, or a cooling source because it's so hot. Um, but just keep it basic. When I saw that, I said that can happen to anybody, and they can just fuck with you and just say we not turning up. But I was so disgusted to see some Democrats saying, "Yeah, if you would have voted." That's what happens when you don't take voting serious, when you don't take the system serious, when you don't want to be involved with the system. We about to not be involved with your system even more. If these niggas follow the cue and defense of what I'm telling them, they'll be able to do their own shit. Okay? But for whatever reason, you got them nice, good, and brainwashed, devil. But how dare you, your satanic system, go sit and tell on that? I said, what kind of shit is this? I'm like, for one, they don't, y'all a Democratic city, for one. I don't care who they trying to hurry up and blame, the Republicans for that. Y'all all in on it together. As quiet as it's kept, y'all all in on it together. And so if Negroes are hard headed and they don't want to listen to their chieftains or to good hearted people with their head on straight, just trying to give out some good game, that's on them. But they can't say it wasn't there. And you're not gonna go to the most high and sit up there and complain, oh, they being racist, oh, they being you think there's been 200 years of that. So why didn't uh we got on record that somebody said and was financially blacklisting just to get y'all certain information and spent 4 years giving you stuff about killing defense and electricity repair and all this cool stuff, and you didn't follow it. So yeah, you don't have a lot of credibility in higher spaces as much as you think you do. Maybe none at all. And that's ruthless, but it's truth. This is what Sunra had been trying to say. And Sunra said they castigated me, they ostracized me when I told them the truth. And by God, as me being a chieftain, more in a commission school of thought, they're gonna rectify that. They gonna rectify that. He told y'all to your face. They gotta rectify that. Because I have a right to my opinion and to express things. That's what he said. I have a right, just like any other black person got a right. And they have to understand that when someone's telling the truth. And that's why on his deathbed, he said they like lies. He said they like lies. So like he said when he asked about the Negro community, he said they like lies. I don't understand, but they like to be lied to. You gotta stroke an ego. You fall for flattery, a compliment. Somebody gotta compliment you in order to have some. All you gotta do is act like you pro-black and give them some constant compliments, and they go and then they'll follow. And that's not gonna get us anywhere. I'll never forget. I had a family member tell me, someone giving you a bunch of flattery and compliments, always go on alert. That's never a way to build up your soul. And it was the truth. It was the truth. Hey T434, peace and blessings. Is this Ty or is this another username? Is that Ty? Hold on, put his name, business out there, right? Peace and blessings to you too. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Well, I remember they told me don't fall for that. Don't fall. Don't put your guard down just because someone gave you a motherfucking compliments and flattery. And they say that in the Bible too. You be careful of all that flattery. 'Cause that means somebody might be coming with a big ass knife to put right in your back or grifting your ass. And so I've never been that type of way. I could admit when I was foolish though. I could admit when I had poor judgment and followed people too. And so I admit that openly. I should be ashamed of following that conscious community stuff since I was 19, as long as I did. And I talked to God. I said I was poor judgment, but the thing is, the Black community followed it too. We were all in that together, and we followed a lot of them fake ass, pro blacks and all that stuff. You see how they in jail? They all in jail. They all got all types of crazy things going on with them. They got the stingers on. Let me stop. They got all types of things on, and we make excuses for them. Constantly capable. They doing all types of crazy shit out here, and I had to say, you know what? That was poor judgment. That was a bad decision. But you know what the Black community won't do is they so much in ego they won't even admit that. They will not admit that they made a poor decision with some of these people they follow. I can admit it openly because that's how else would you grow. But when you want to double down, they always want to double down on a degeneracy, double down on a bad behavior. You're acting like a white person. That ain't no way of melanin. Science and melanin don't do that. It auto corrects. It has a natural superconductor intelligence. It's not gonna just sit in error. It's not. And so God told me to tell y'all that because I said, you know what? I was wrong for that. I had to eat that and I have to course correct from that. That's what the science of melanin does. It'll teach you that accountability, like bad judgment. You gonna develop discernment or you gonna keep making excuses for it. Hmm? And so when if I could sit and do that and have to do that work, I know that the other average Negroes can too. But what we seeing is constant doubling down and well he did this, well he didn't know no better. They put the man at the house and they did this in the 60s and oh remember in Tulsa, they just burnt that. No, 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 no. Equation based vector space. Death vector space. And death is not bad. Okay. And so when somebody told y'all make friends with death and no one will bother you. Okay. And then we know what Kali means. Kali J.N.S. Kali Genesis. It says J.N.S. Genesis. Kali means death. Kali means the black one in change. Cosmic black, not black like federal definition. Cosmic black, primordial. Okay. Now, when we go into the deeper sciences of the forefathers of the Hebrew science, which I'm not teaching online, we will be able to put this stuff together so you'll see. Um, and that's why I say the shield defense, your weekly meeting, that's like your Nakhti church of the higher self. And like I said, 10% to the facilitator, public counting. When you go put that basket, y'all counting that shit right out in the public. Bloop, bloop, bloop. This how much we got. This how much you getting. This is what we have for our funds. And then what do y'all think we need? You have a committee or a suggestion box, right? What gear do y'all think we need? Do y'all think we need to go train at the gun range? Do y'all think we need to go get some freeze dry food? Do y'all think we need to go and stock up on seed bolts? Do y'all think we need to go and maybe start a fund or something? And you put it right in that suggestion. And then the money is save up. Or we need to save up. Let's just keep saving our money. However you want to do it. Now it may not be in dollars. It could be, like I said, in other things. You may donate equipment too. You can donate equipment as well. You know, maybe you need to pay for storage to put some of this stuff. You may have to pay for storage to do these things. But this is the machinations of starting up. When we say Nakhti Queen Mothership, this is what QM Defense is. Okay, that branch of it, block per block, reiterated at the heavy level. The 5 leaders, you pick one, boom, then you reiterate it again. City, you do block, district, zone, city, state. That's how you shift away. Okay. Now y'all act like y'all don't know who I am, and oh, we gonna be so happy to blacklist you. Oh, we so happy to get you out there. And look, your shit is rocked. It looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. It's like they roll out this one. Like I'm like, dude, all this stuff come from the Nakhti order. I'm like, come on, either something I put on Blue Sky or the Nakhti order website. I'm like, where are we going with this? Where are we going? And I'm gonna say this to you, motherfuckers. I'm gonna say this to you. I'm about to talk some shit. I know. I need to stop cussing. I ought to be ashamed of myself. y'all talking about y'all want to switch, which it came from. I said when I said that Negroes are natural socialists, it's under very specific context and steps that are cosmic stuff that we know other dimensions, other planets have. Right? Y'all trying to force this DSA stuff on them or on America. I'll tell you this: there are certain steps that you need to have a successful socialist government. America and the DSA. And I'll look at the DSA stuff. Y'all need zero them, absolutely nothing from for what you need to have a successful socialist system. And actually, they're tricking you with the definition. What they're not proposing is socialism. They are proposing communism, and they should say that. What they are telling you is socialism is not the right definition. And like I said, there are steps. I know them steps, and I'm not giving them out. And like I said, there has not been a successful socialist system on your planet. Now that they got these puppets rolling out saying, that's because the CIA ruined everyone. Don't you think the CIA is around trying to switch you back over, fool? Because they realize it's a deeper play where they can grab more power and make sure that you never revolt against your government. Y'all think that Patriot Act was something. Watch what's coming. Because you can't see the play. And they got these people, well, that's because the CIA was sabotaging. Yeah, they sabotaged the capitalism, but now capitalism is no longer viable for even them. And so they're going to try to switch it over to socialism, but it's not socialism. That's not the proper definition. And you need a first certain step of criteria for it to be successful. And this government has not met one of them, not even one. And because they want to steal from the Nakhti order, the DSA, and these people that y'all rolling out, that black woman y'all rolled out stealing from my shit, you learn the hard way. What does it mean to me? What does it mean to me? You could have came clean, okay? About what y'all was trying to do and what y'all still trying to do. And so I would still stand by what I said. You can't rock with none of these people. But anybody that's truly of the light, any chosen ones, anybody that's truly a God, anybody that's truly a nature, you can't rock with none of that shit. And y'all already know that. Do what you need to do to prepare for yourself, where nothing they do affects you. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm talking about all of it, the government itself. And like I said, libertarian don't mean that you don't have a government. It's a governance system. And we say with social libertarianism means we formulate a new construction. It's not just one or the other. You can't just be socialist. You can't just be communist. You can't just, they're not pure like that. The systems don't operate like that. Human mind doesn't operate that way. So that's why you'll see even capitalism is not solely purely capitalism. And so you can't think in as kind of false dichotomies like that. And so I still stand by what I said. I think these Negroes still need to go do their own thing. And I think that America needs to pay attention seriously and stop looking for a shortcut. Stop looking, oh, the Republicans is doing this, making it so bad for us, making it so miserable for us. Let's just go and vote for them. The same crew that did the same stuff with mandates with them with that shot and was kicking people out your job and kicking. So they both gonna keep ping ponging you. The gang theory. You're gonna just keep getting ping pong. And they both working together as a shadow government, like I said. And now this time the beast wants they want absolute control. Oh, they talking about they had these ideas where they're thinking of, you know, doing their own thing and just coming up with their own system. Well, let's make it impossible. Own their grocery stores, own the healthcare, own the universal, own this and get them even more handicapped than they was. But this time it's not gonna just be based on race. They're gonna have it everybody. And so they give you distractions. There's ways to roll this stuff out that's more intelligent than that. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not falling for that. I'm not desperate enough to fall for that bullshit. I could look at it and I see bullshit. Now anybody wanna we about to roll out um a new debate style coming out and we're gonna show people that this is how you get rid of grifting politicians, this is how you get rid of politicians who just want fame and fortune, and this is how you get rid of puppet politicians that's paid and bought for. The new debate style that we coming up with, that the Nakhti order is gonna be coming out with and releasing. We're gonna cover it. You ain't gotta follow it, but at least um regular Americans, average citizens could look and say and compare it. And if you're a YouTuber or if you're a news anchor, put their motherfucking ass on blast and watch them squirm. like y'all gonna be qualified, is what we say. You're gonna be qualified. You want to sit your ass up. You ain't gonna be able to grip and steal from someone else and plagiarize someone else's identity to look like you that politician. No, we gonna put your motherfucking ass on blast. This motherfucker couldn't even answer a question. Yes, how you gonna pay for this? You said you want universal health care. You said you want universal child care. How you gonna pay for it? They couldn't even answer a question. Couldn't even answer it because you're a grifter. You're a puppet. And I could see that. I said, you should be able, even if you got to look down at some notes or at your phone just to answer the question, you should be able to answer that question like it's nothing. And so we're not playing with it. I'm telling you, this new debate style that we about to get them all up out of here. Now they gonna act like they don't know me. They ain't gonna use it. But you as Americans gonna be able to see, y'all, that chick right. Y'all, that they we do need to get we do need to put make sure that we can get, expose these grifters, expose the grifter politician, expose an actor politician, expose a thieving, plagiarizing politician, expose a politician that's obsessed with money and fame, expose them. And the method that we come out with is going to expose all of that. It will expose all of that. And they're going to ignore it, but it's up to you. Influential YouTuber, influential TikTok, whatever, anchor, when they come on your little show, sneak it in there. Watch it. Sneak it in there. And I ain't saying all of y'all got to do that, but I'm saying try it and watch what I'm saying. Test it. And we release this and put these people on blast because they ain't going to be able to hide and cover it up or wear an earpiece to give them the answers. No, no, no. Mm-mm. We putting it, and it's kind of entertaining the way I like a little entertainment. I like a little edutainment. Well, we gonna get they motherfucking ass. Get them all up out of here. You ain't coming to rebrand or nothing. Okay, we see you for what you is. You ain't rebranding or get some random Gen Z and give them the talking points from 2008 to rock everybody back to sleep, put them in a 2008 timeline and have them all excited and looking and that was the Obama days. No, we ain't. I'm not a nostalgic nigga like that. Anytime you have to nostalgia or reminisce over the past, your system has failed. That's somebody that knows that something ain't right. And anytime you're reminiscing about the past or remember the past in the 90s, that means your system is wrong. Always. Anytime you have people do that. That's why I don't do that. I like the 90s, but I don't want to go relive it. I'm about renewal, creativity, innovation. Let's do something new. Let's come up with something that works for everybody. Okay, that's what I'm about. I'm not about just, oh, the 90s fine. Oh, remember when they looked like the 90s? What? This is weird. Okay, let's keep them. So remember kind, which ultimately derives from the Latin genus and Greek genos, meaning race, stock, or kind. The French genre traces back to the Old French, which ultimately derives from the Latin genus, meaning birth, race, kind, or class. The Proto-Indo-European root meaning give, birth, beget. So it's about birthrights here. With derivatives referring to procreation and familiar and tribal groups. The word geno, also spelled gemro in Japanese, refers to an unofficial group of elder statesmen who served as informal advisors to the emperor. Remember what the term boule means, of Japan during the 19th and early 20th century. And you got to figure a purebred Nagas being will understand Japanese, will understand Hebrew, will understand Kemet, will understand Eastern thought. Okay, will understand different types of things. You asked me to teach you about some of this stuff about the Bushido Creed or Confucius, Palau Piety, Shakti School of Thought, Advaita Vedanta, ATR, IFA. You asked me to give you some rundown about any of this stuff. And purebred Nagas is going to know we don't have to sit and learn it. We don't have to be initiated in nothing. It's going to come natural to us because all there's secret codes that let you know what is what everywhere, no matter what. And so this is done very much purposeful. Them bringing in Japanese like that, Jin meaning original, primary, or first, role meaning old or elder. Okay. Don't think, and then you know how we knew that? Elder statesmen who served as informal advisors to the emperor. So that means, remember, the Nagas used to run Japan too. And guess who I learned from Sunra from? A full-blown Japanese man that could speak Japanese and all. He was not mixed with black or nothing. He was a full-blooded Japanese man who taught us about the Moors navigational seafaring and Sun Ra. It was very on some real cryptic shit. He got it in there. He got it in there. And them white boys was bad. They was like, what no Moors running those seas. He's like, this is just not like up for debate. I remember he was like, this is just not up for debate. Like this is like what this is it. Like I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like I remember he was looking like this is just documented. It's something that we all know. And he was, and if you were, and I'm not sitting up there trying to, cake for um Japan because I don't know much about them, but I have no beef with them either. But I'll tell you this, I learned that I cannot make that up. There is a record of everything I'm saying as far and his curriculum about what he was teaching us. He was teaching us. He taught us about that. He taught me about that Sunra and about Moore's navigational sea patterns. Now, he taught about a lot of things. He taught about Japan stuff too. He was teaching about Asian studies as well as Pacific Islander studies. But since we talked about, he did a section on Asiatic Black men, and that was very controversial. But he was able to teach about Asiatic, and that's why it popped up because of the Asiatic Black man stuff, I guess. So part of his curriculum was to cover it. He didn't have to cover that, but he thought it was interesting. He did a lot of research on it, and so that's why he taught him. That's why that came up in that particular course, and I was blown away, But I always remember that. So now let's look at Nigor. So Nigor is also has the same frequency as Niger, right? And in the New Testament, the prophet Simeon is surnamed Niger, acts Nagid, Hebrew for leader and prince, and that is a common biblical title even for King David. I'm just saying these words, Niger and Nagid, do have similar frequency. So Nagid is Hebrew for leader or prince. So that's the anagrams of Negro. And okay, so when we think about the Outre music sounds, I know that was really wrong. So I know. So thanks for bearing with me. We covered the '90s stuff. We covered Gary, Indiana. We covered a lot, didn't we? But um, Negro, me just saying this over and over again, is pretty much me saying all of this, in this one song, all of this. And so that's what makes it ultra. Now, the beat also makes it ultra. We might be able to play it. Let's see. We might be able to play it. I mean, I own the song, I'm copyrighted, but I'm trying to see, like, my sound has sound difficulties earlier. I thought this was able to be played from on this website, or we have to go to YouTube. Oh, here it goes, right here. And so when you think of you got jazz elements, you have rock elements, and you have folk, like folk sound elements in this song as well. So the beat qualifies it, the message, the anagrams, and the code qualifies it, as well as the beat qualifies it for the ultra music genre. Okay, and so on this, I had like these photos because I like Booker T. Washington and I like James Baldwin. And then I also, you guys know, I like Sun Ra. And then I like Pharoah Sanders. Pharoah Sanders is a really uh, he's a brilliant musician, and I like the messages in his songs. Um, even though they're before my time, but I had always liked James Baldwin. I always liked Booker T. Washington. I always liked Sun Ra. So that's why I put him on a photo. And then I found some photos of families of Negroes and stuff like that. There's two versions of this. One has some for women, and then this one has some with some males, and then one is just more like families together. And so this photo, I think there's like three versions of this photo. And so I didn't know which one to choose. I said, well, which one do I choose? I was so confused. I said, I don't know which one to choose. And so I said, well, we'll just go with this one. I said, well, they'll just use the one with James Baldwin and Booker T. Washington. But it was really hard to choose which one because I think we had one with Ida B. Wells on there, and so it was just like, I probably should have put because this is quite a bit of males on here, but I mean, I mean, this is honestly what I grew up learning from as far as Booker T. Washington and James Baldwin. That's what I grew up learning from, and then some I discovered later. But I've studied, I watched every single last interview of his, practically his lectures, the music, I listened to all his music. Um, uh, and James Baldwin, I did spend quite a bit of time listening to all his interviews and speeches and reading his books too. And then Pharoah Sanders, I like his catalog of music. It's very unique. It's very high vibration. It's very high vibrational, and that's what I like about that type of music. Let me see if I can give y'all some of the titles of his stuff. He died in 2022. She did. He died in 2022. So let me see if I can get y'all some of his albums, so you guys can check him out. Because he plays saxophone on them. Let me look at his disc. Oh, the Deaf, Dumb, and Blind one. That's a good album. Because I think he was Muslim, and so you guys might want to check out Deaf, Dumb, and Blind. Um, and that one is titled Suman Bukman Yun. That came out in 1970. Then there's a album. There's one called Black Unity that came out in 1971. I listened to all of these. Wisdom Through Music is 1972. Love in Us All is 1973. Thimby is 1971. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, what was my favorite? Village of the Pharaohs, 1973. Wisdom Through Music, I think I already said that one. Elevation, 1974. Love Will Find a Way, 1978. So this was a person that was very high vibrational, and I like that. Rejoice, 1981. Shakuru, 1985. Heart is a Melody, 1983. Where's the one that I love? Oh Lord, Let Me Do No Wrong, 1987. A Prayer Before Dawn, 1987. Welcome to Love, 1991. Moonchild, 1989. Crescent with Love, 1992. With a Heartbeat, 2003. Save Our Children, 1999. Message from Home, 1996. This was a very spiritual man. Promises, 2021. Spirits, 2000. Okay. I like the one Let Us Go Into the House of the Lord. That's a good song. And then, dang, I gotta get that song. Karma is a good one too. Listen to Karma by Pharoah Sanders. And so he died. And so, high vibration. This is what we're trying to bring back. And so his music will qualify for Outre all day, especially that Karma song. Peace and love for every man. The Creator has a master plan. That peace and happiness for every man. That song that qualifies, and then the eclecticness of it. Okay. And so he was born in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1940. He worked in a school cafeteria at one time as a oh, sorry, not him, his mother did, worked as a cook in a school cafeteria. And his father worked for the city. Okay. And he went to Scipio Jones High School. Okay. And then he moved to Oakland, California, where he lived with his relatives. And then he plays tenor saxophone. Okay. And he qualifies for avant-garde jazz. And so that definitely qualifies for Outre. But let me play. I just wanted to give you some game on Pharoah Sanders because this is the type of stuff we're about to bring back and all that. That's why, the Wiz Khalifa and them, they want to go back to the labels because the labels got the machine where they can just prop up. When you're independent, and let's actually talk about that right now. And this is the comment from another Blaque American. I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, major label success doesn't require talent as much as it requires a good team behind you. Independent success requires legendary levels talent plus a good marketing campaign. If you want to look at independent success, I'm not going to say their name because I don't know about them and I got to look at them before I promote their stuff on my channel. The radio stations and record labels are the same entity plus 85% streaming. Okay, and this is another thing this is come from another Blaque American. It says, when you can no longer deliver on originality, it is best to have a lot. Independence requires special originality to drive a movement. And so I'm not saying that that's what Wiz Khalifa is doing. I just think he needs a loan or he needs to make a deal. Like, shit, it's rough out here. But my thing is he got influence over these youths and whatever. And I think that messaging can be skewed when you tell when you tell your community. He didn't have to announce that, right? He didn't have to announce that. He could have just went to the label. Nobody would have fucking knew, right? Oh, I need to go to it. I need to go find me a label. Knowing that the move now is for a lot of these artists to go independent or even people coming up to do independent things. And so I kind kind of was like, is this a psyop? Because it's like, why are you trying to teach them to go back to the labels? The labels haven't done anything for them. They don't focus on artist development. They're not proper stewards or what you call handlers. They're not proper stewards of these artists. I was looking, I said, I'm even they doing the streamers thing now. I said, where's the artist? I'm looking at the streamers too, right? The girls are on their phone playing with their hair. They're supposed to be doing a cooking session. And see, this is what we're saying with Jacobian style, as far as star power, there's no way we would allow that. There is no way. That doesn't even look good on camera. I might do a case study on it. I said, what? Look how you would never see Aaliyah on the phone as she's filming content and touching her hair in a very insecure manner. They on the phone, like they on the phone, supposed to be filming content for a cooking show. They were on a phone, and and I counted probably like over 10 times when they did it. So they on the streaming live, and it's supposed to be entertaining and being a star, being an influencer, as they say. And they on a motherfucking phone with cake up, all this crazy looking makeup on. One of the girls on, and, she's shady. She's shady. I was like, man, y'all wouldn't have made it in the 90s. None of these people would have made it. They would have made it in the 60s, 40s, 50s. None of it. I'm looking like, why? For one, a real Jacobian store would have been. That's how you say they under those handlers. They don't got no proper stewardship because it's supposed to be your bloodline. It's supposed to be a royal family sticking together. So don't have it. When a royal family's stick together, that means you're supposed to look out for one another's best interests at all times because their success is dependent on your motherfucking survival. That's the difference. Okay, when you're not exploiting a person because they win, you win. And so I'm like, if I was them girl stores, no, your phone is right here. You know where your phone is at, right? You can get your phone at any time the moment you don't want to start streaming. But you're not going to be on camera, supposed to be doing content and paid content, and you on a fucking phone. And then you stroking your hair, you know, and the look is not good. It's all these random people around. This is ridiculous. I say, y'all wouldn't have made it in the y'all you ain't gonna have that star power or that longevity. And that shit is trash. I don't even know how this is content. But we look like the hater or whatever for speaking the truth. Get the fuck out of here. But I would say, well, Wiz Khalifa, people was saying that, okay, did you have a catalog anyways that could really pull, independent level, longevity, say like a R FKJ, uh, that he can sing, they can produce, play saxophone, they play piano. They can make something for the rest. Somebody gonna pay somewhere, somehow, someone gonna pay. Now they probably ain't gonna be no big old millionaire or whatever, but they're gonna be able to make, even if they gotta do a couple venue shows, small shows, big venues, they're gonna be set for life because that's what if you're going independent and you don't want to sell out your gifts, your creative control, you're gonna have to um it's all on you. It is. But if the talent is there and you doing it from the passion of your heart, you'll find that you'll be fine. Somebody will check it out. Not everybody, because right now they're going to try to. They know where like these youth. If they find a formula to be independent without the labels, that's dangerous for them. And so if you find a way to bring it back to what it was, they lose control. And really, and I'm gonna say this very emphatically. Um, what we're doing is very systematic, and I would let it know because what they say don't give out all the information, but I will let this one out. We're trying to reset the music apparatus. So what you see music, Nakhti University music department doing, and the frameworks that we had gave out through the music department is to pretty much get rid of the fact that uh, there's exploiters and people that's trying to control the music industry that have no ties to our community, culture, knowledge, musical gifts, nothing. They have nothing for us but exploitation and eating and stealing catalogs and stealing masters, stealing doing all this stuff. Now they may try to change off of what I'm saying because they want you in their system. So they may say like, damn, we're gonna have to change now because this bitch on out there talking, telling these Negroes that, they should be doing more of an independent conglomerate. So you do independence, but then you do a conglomerate. When you're in competition, you have to do a bloodletting ritual. Okay. When you're in competition, nothing but soul selling and bloodletting. And I'm talking about regardless of what system was in place. If you're stuck in that type of mindset, you're never going to get anywhere as a people. If all you can think of is instead of collaboration, oh, that person's my car, I gotta get them out. Oh, all these independent artists, could be set up on their own conglomerates. And even their own circular money engine, well, to be honest, quite frankly. Um, just like how the other side has done. The more labels. They fake numbers, they do payola, they gatekeep, they do all types of crazy shit to lock out independent artists. The thing is for you to counteract that is not to go and, oh, let me just go join them because I don't know what else to do. Now, if you know you need a loan or you know you need that advance or whatever, and you don't have, people ain't gonna listen to Wiz Khalifa rap all like that. Even to this day, it wasn't like he was just like, you know. And so I mean, I don't have an issue with Wiz Khalifa. I don't know the man, but I'm saying like I've listened to that album. I think it was Orange and Kush or something like that. OG and Orange Juice and Kush when I was in high school. I listened to that when I was in high school. And so, what are you gonna sing about? Black and yellow. So he independent artist. He may need that engine to push him, because when you independent, you get to realize how unpopular you. I'll say this: you realize you're not as popular as you thought you was. When you have to do when you have to do everything on your own, it, especially if you go from label to independent, you realize that they manipulate them numbers. They do. They'll tell you to yourself. They tell you that they'll tell you themselves that they know how to buy a spot on a billboard. They know how to do all types of shit. They can make a phone call to an engineer that controls the algorithm with views and all that, make that shit go up, make that shit go down. They could personally contact an engineer to immediately go in and fuck with your account. I've seen them remove views off my YouTube. I've seen them do some crazy shit. I've seen them do some really wicked shit. So it could be the opposite. You go with the engine, they could sit up there and they give you, um, you know, they can make you get 100,000, whatever it is, views or whatever it is, millions, 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 and it don't even be real. They could be. They have clawbot technology. That's old technology that just got released. That you got. But I'll tell you this. So when you're independent, like you all know that situation. Let me backtrack. Somebody got a billion views on their YouTube channel. They thinking they go on one song, right? On one song. So they thinking, okay, that means, oh, let me just rent out. I'm gonna do a stadium arena. This is a true story. They go and sell the tickets. Only 8 people buy the tickets. How do you get a billion? You know, a billion views, and then you try to do a whole stadium and only 8 people buy tickets. Like there's something not that's you know what I mean? That's a machine. It's a machine. It's not real. And so with the independence, yes, it's a lot more work, but if you are passionate, you probably still won't have to work regular job too. And then but if you talented and you will be doing that shit because anyways, right? People that do music have been doing music anyways, whether it be for therapeutic reasons, experimentation. And I don't think people would be lifelong musicians. Like with me, I'm in this little phase where I want to do music. I'm not gonna do this for the rest of my life. I got right when I'm done what I want to get out and get all my um traumas out and messages out, positive messages of encouragement, and get all my therapy thing that I need with using music right now and experiment and challenge myself. Once I get done with that, just like I spent 5 years writing books. I spent 5 years writing books every day, literally every day writing books. Okay. And I got tired. So I said, well, let me do music for a bit. When I get done with doing music, I do something else. I wanted to do teaching. I spent a whole year teaching 10-hour lectures, 7-hour lectures. I wanted to teach. That's what it's about. You're not going to stay one thing. You may get bored. You want to take a break. You may take a break and you get back to it. And so that's what music usually is generally. And so yes, you should know the business side of things, of course. But with Wiz Khalifa going to the label, that's his business. He should elaborate maybe why. Maybe he already did. But it's like for other independent artists, don't feel like discouraged. Like, damn, he's going back. Maybe I should too. Or you know, context matters. Rap is down in sales. People is not really messing with rap like that. An independent rapper is going to even be harder. And if you're not like even a lyricist or a good rapper, like top 10, top five is going to even be harder. And so his situation is not your situation. If you know you play piano and saxophone and do guitar and your motherfucking ass know how to sing, why you probably should push it independent for a little bit. For now, maybe for how long you need to. You should probably be independent. I'm not gonna hold you and find a way to we talk about the flash vinyls. Go on that where it says flash vinyl. Go look at that video. Go look what that entails. You know, the relationships that you build to be able to get um probably college radio. You probably don't be able to get no big FMs, big. Well, maybe you do, maybe you're networking enough to make somebody fuck with you. But you get access to college radio, you get access to venues and jazz performances, cafes, all types of stuff. Um, Private bookings, whatever you need, or you could tour with someone, whoever, who knows. But all I'm saying is, in order to make change, you have to do something different. And so, if everybody is independent, it makes the labels irrelevant. And so that's why there's this push for independence. Now you see them fighting. You see them fighting like, oh, let's make sure that we gatekeep, and that's why they changed Billboard don't include YouTube no more, because that means independent artists could sneak through the cracks and get on a billboard by accident. They don't want that. They want to control everything that you hear and get. They want to push sex, vices, selfishness, and ego, stupidity. They don't want to push nothing, nothing what Pharaoh Sanders was creating about let us walk into the house of the Lord and let us get joy and love is all we need and all this stuff. They don't want to push that. They're not going to push songs about sleeping beauty and what's somewhere else they call it, nuclear war and door of the cosmos, and that's how I feel. And there's other worlds out there that they don't want you to know. They said this 60s stuff they lost control. That's why they don't want you in the 60s timeline. They did at first, but they said, well, we didn't have control then. They had the power, but we didn't have the control. In the 90s, they had the control, but we still had the power as far as kinetic energy, power. And so they want you back in the 90s because it's like, well, we was able to infiltrate the industry and get control over their power. And by that, I'm talking about your soul, about this stuff that's inside of you. And so that's why they say at first, and I told y'all this, I think I have a video up on my old channel that's still up. That's why I said they're trying to put us in the 60s timeline. They were. Then they realized, like, we lost complete control over the narrative building. And them niggas was really about to turn up and split this shit in half. So they said, well, we don't want to do 60s, but they want to bring it back into the 90s because FCC was able to control the airwaves, but also the music was still potent, still powerful. Because music is an easy way. That's probably your top three way to program a motherfucker, okay? Through music. I don't care what nobody is. You ain't you heard it here first. Why you think they all in control over it? Okay. Um, and so don't go, I'm telling you, don't go to a 90s timeline. What I'm saying is create your own. Let's be creative. That's what we talk about. Outre, we can be influenced by Pharaoh Sanders, but you ain't gonna be no Pharaoh Sanders. He's too unique. You can be influenced by Sun Ra, but you're not gonna beat no Sun Ra. He's too unique. Okay? So you ain't gotta go and copycat, you gotta go and be an original. And do your thing from your heart, your soul, and express it. And so what we're saying is if the artists go independent and they build a conglomerate around, more of the money the business aspect of it, and they're independent. What does that do with the labels? Why do you think they can tell you what's going to happen? They're going to try to push it hard. They want you back they want you back on the plantation. They want you back, and they think is they give you that money. But I'm telling you, you can go with your own physical currency. But these things are not easy, and it does require sacrifice. So you may not see the benefits from this generation. It may take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I can tell you, if you're thinking as fast, you move fast, you follow your chieftains and follow what they say, they'll get you there in 10, 20 years max. You'll be able to see. Most of us will be able to still see. But even if you're 60 years old, 40 years old, 20 years, 10 years, you'll be 50, and 20 years, you'll be 60. So for those of us that's millennials, that's 34, with 30 years old, 35, 10 years, you'll be 45. 20 years, you'll be 60, 55. You'll still be able to see the fruits of your labor. Okay, if we put in the work in now. And Gen Zs, that's even young. You're 20, you're 18. You'll see your benefits by age 30, 35. What I'm talking about. But we need, it can't just be one person. And a lot of the blueprints that I have, I cannot give online. A lot of the stuff about the Nakhti order is about to be solely offline anyways. Like, seriously, whatever you got is what you got. It's in the open. But a lot of the shit that is gonna have to be offline. There's just no other way about it. Even like everything gonna have to be offline. I'm thinking. Like we may be clever, strategically put stuff out online, but it's too that stuff is too potent, and we got too many enemies. Like, I know if you say that, oh, it's the enemy is within. If you look at it, if you it flow with water and then you don't have no enemies. Yeah, I believe in that. Actually, that's why I walk through the earth the way I walk through the earth, not even realizing that motherfuckers be gunning for me and targeting me. Don't even like my ass. I didn't even really pay attention. I don't pay attention to that shit. Or copying me and stealing and keeping me down. I didn't even pay attention that I was a target individual since 2015. I don't, because I just like, oh well, that didn't work out. That didn't, I'm trying to, and I'm thinking it's just racism. I'm like, oh, this is just the racism. You know how they do black folks dirty. And it was my own people doing it. And they still they keep trying to cover that up and act like they care about unity. The only time them niggas unite is if it's around some uh, some money to get somebody to kill someone or against a black person telling the truth. That's the only time them niggas is going to unite. If they want to shut up a person that's telling the truth about their ass, that's the only time them niggas is going to unite. Or if it's against some dark skinned black woman that's telling them the truth. There's a dark skinned black woman telling the truth, or they all going to unite against it. That's the only time the niggas going to practice some unity, or if some white folks pay them to. That's the only time they're going to practice some unity. And so, the Most High is going to have His way, or her way. Okay. Um, and so they want to unite against me. Whatever we do, we got to keep this. And the whole thing is uniting against a college. That's the only time they'll unite if it's against someone or to compete with someone. It's the only time they unite. They don't unite off of for unity's sake, for the sake of the higher forms of the world consciousness, higher other world consciousness, joy. And the unity is beyond joy. So you're not gonna sit and tell me you're gonna march up and down and complain about what they did and they did this and those and think you're gonna get unity. It's a clash. It's too low of a frequency. Now you can get mad at me for saying that, but it's the truth and you will see it. Unity requires higher frequency than what we at. And all that backbiting and competition and oh, this is art. You working behind. I see what y'all do. A lot of shit y'all do behind the scenes. I see it. Copying someone, plagiarizing, act like you don't know, and then now you're gonna have unity. Please, you'll never have it. Soon as that person gets removed, you can't get unity around a scapegoat. Soon as that person leaves or do, you're still left with that mirror. You're still left with your own fucking bullshit. You ain't gonna be able to escape it. You ain't gonna be able to hide or blame black women, blame black men, blame whoever, blame the white man, blame. You ain't gonna be able to have nothing. You ain't gonna be able to have none of that. Okay, we told you um what we told you that yeah, you natural social libertarians who would embrace socialist frameworks as Black Americans, but that DSA stuff is not it. We didn't tell you to go run there. There's certain steps that have to be taken for us. And like I said, I want to do everything offline. I'm at this point because I'm like, damn, I'm not about to keep this B system going. And they've been trying to get ownership. Oh, because like I said, the codes, the kinetic energy, it's about who is like for them. They want mind control. So when they hear niggas getting some ideas or niggas not trusting the system, they panic. They panic. And then when the white folks not trusting them, and white folks realizing this is some bullshit, they panic. So yeah, they go, well, we gotta give y'all, let's just throw some money at, well, we gotta give y'all what y'all want. But you see, they always sneak the devil in there. Government owned grocery store, universal free child. Why would you have the government watching your children, knowing what you know about Epstein files and what was all involved in it? And had some government backed daycare, what so they could spy on you, have some gang stalker daycare worker spying on your children and reporting back to the government on who got what gifts, checking the bottom of their feet, pricking them, taking their blood and shipping it off to some labs. So yeah, they do this stuff. So yeah, they want to give you universal. Yeah, we need to watch these Negroes, and the people that get the daycare, that get the government subsidies. That's an oath. You ain't just getting no government subsidies for these children and thinking they don't have no control over the daycare owner. Okay, okay. And not only that, a female. So y'all talking about 90. I want to be 90s fine again. Okay, 90s fine. Okay, 50s provider. You have a child as a woman. He's a 50s provider. Why are you not raising your own child in his formative years? You should be raising your own child in formative years. That was always Black culture, not no government daycare. You was always watching your own kid. Okay. I'm not talking about since the onslaught of warfare on us. I'm talking about from the beginning of time. Okay. And so y'all can get mad at me and say, "Oh, you messing it up. We just want to get our money, keep our head down." It's gonna be messed up anyways. You just kicking a can down the road, whether I'm here or not. You're gonna have to face that mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm telling him to change his ways. No, something. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. And here's the thing, because this is what y'all Luciferians love to say, and I'm gonna say this to all Americans: if everyone was supposedly, because y'all love to say, well, if you would have made that change and you just need to change yourself. And this is what happens when you don't change yourself. You get nobody, we don't like you. We just don't like you because you didn't change yourself. Motherfucker, if every single last one of y'all is applying them principles like you claim you do, and y'all are making the change you want to be in the world, they say make the change. Don't worry about nobody. Worry about yourself and make the change you want to be in the world. Um, if that's the truth, right? Because it's not rigged, right? As you say, which we all know is rigged. It's a rigged system, but let's act like it's not. Everybody's want to be the change they want to see in the world, right? Then y'all would be revolting right now. Be careful about your equations. If you're gonna tell everybody, yo, y'all ain't no target individuals, y'all should have made the change and look at yourself and just change in the world to be the change you want to see in the world, and the world around you gonna change. Okay, so if we are being the change you want to see in the world, it will be revolting, and there will be no government, there will be none of this bullshit, no poverty, no homelessness, nothing. The jar cause. You would get rid of all of it. You would get rid of all of the change I want to see in the world. That means I gotta revolt and beat your motherfucking ass. I'm being the change I want to see in the world. It means I gotta stop being a coward and stand up for myself and stand up on truth and business and get rid of grifters, get rid of all these wicked people all in our face trying to mind control us. That's what that means. That's going to pay us $7 an hour for minimum wage. That means get rid of all of them. I want to be the change I want to be in the world. That means we got to get rid of all of that. That's what that means when you say something like that. You go and tell a target individual that shit. When you know you was systematically working behind the scenes to stop them, do everything you can do to block them, and then say you should have just changed. Okay, so if we change, that means we gotta get rid of all of y'all. All of y'all, all of y'all. All these weirdo ass influencers, all this stuff that y'all putting on the news, all this stuff, get rid of all of it. All of it. Get rid of it. Because we be in a change, we want to be in a work. We want that means be independent artists. That means no sign to the labels. That means work for ourselves. That means don't work for $7 for a greedy corporation. That means revolution, revelation. When you say something like that, y'all like to go around. If you would have the capitalism system worked, y'all should have just got off your asses and off your lazy ass. You should have just been the change that you wanted to see. Okay, you're right. Okay, okay. Let's say that. Let's say okay. It's not rigged. You said it's not rigged. Okay. I'm in a dark. I'm in Gary, Indiana, and I'm in the dark for 11 days without electricity. I need to change. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. That means I need to revolt to get every of these motherfuckers out the paint, because we can get some electricity back on. That means revolt. That means revolution. That okay. So I'm not going to sit and work myself to the bone 40 hours a week, and I still can't pay my motherfucking rent and take care of the child care license. Okay, that means I'm not I'm gonna wait to have children because we got some different the men say give want to get married, and I can't afford to have no kid right now. So that means that I cannot open my legs and have a baby. Oh, no, 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 no. Y'all trying to be childless by choice. Oh, you said be the change you want to see in the world. I can't afford a kid right now. So I'm gonna wait. Uh, I don't believe in having children on the wedlock. Gotta wait. You got a 35% marriage rate. Then you say, um, oh, the music industry is so demonic. It's been doing this and doing it. Oh, so let's all just be independent artists and let's come up with our own flash finals and let's come up with our own currency and our own streaming service. Let's come up with our own direct to consumer pipelines and all this stuff. And let's just move away from that. Oh no, 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 no. Wiz Khalifa's going back to the labels. So we put the finals back in Target. You see. No, no, no. We done with your system. That's what you got to tell them because I'm telling you, they're trying to creep through the door. This is the devil, man. I'm not. It's not religious. I'm telling you what that force is not. It don't make any sense. It's just pivoting based off of what we doing, the children of light. And if we say no, we don't want it, we don't want it. You looked at us and told us it was our fault. We didn't know nothing. We was dumb. You held we you'll just say they call us schizophrenic and paranoid because we was getting gang stalked for all these years. They told us we was getting gang stalked. They told everybody, but we just concerned for her. They're mentally ill. Oh, okay, okay, we will hold you to it. Okay. So we don't want to be bothered with nobody that lies on us like that. That lies and then continues to try to cover it up. We don't want to be bothered with anybody that covers up child trafficking. Okay. And so Blaque America, that's what you want to you gonna be tested. You gonna be tested. God gonna hold you to a higher standard whether you like it or not. And you sit there with this bullshit, you will go to that system, we watching every single last one of you. Just so you know, we're watching every single last one of you. And we can see a lot of the steal backdoor deals you're doing, backbiting behind the scenes. We see all that stuff. I even see like even some quote unquote like scholars and we see what y'all doing. We see a lot of y'all shit. Like even y'all thinking y'all we can't see y'all network saying we already know about the super shiny stuff, which we think y'all not we can't see the stuff that y'all be trying to do. You can watch it. I mean, if you're not gonna build your own shit, shut the fuck up because that's the only thing God gonna hear. Ain't we don't hear about none of that other bullshit you're talking about. And the DSA could come clean about work. They trying to hurry up and steal shit from the Nakhti murder. And y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing. Y'all don't. That's what I'm saying. They could do the fair thing when they wanted me to they called me to endorse something. I said, yeah, I'll endorse it, but they want me to sign a data sharing agreement for source code. And when I first got that email with that, it did not say optional. The word optional was not there. I promise you, it was not there. I would have saw it. It wasn't there. They put it after I emailed them back. I said, I would have loved to endorse this, but I don't believe in signing no data sharing agreement to share my source code. So I didn't sign it. And then I guess they hurried up and put optional on there, but did not say optional. It did not say that when they first sent that form to me. It had the word optional on there. So that's why I didn't sign it. You don't think I could tell the difference? Oh yeah, I can tell you. It didn't say optional on there. It didn't. And so that they about sneakiness because it ain't nothing to get a consultant in there to tell you what the like even when I said like they try to run our homegirl again, I'm like, you need a consultant. I would have been the best consultant in the country for that. As far as they try to push her out there and get her a win, she don't deserve to win. She don't. But as far as like manufacturing something, yeah. Would I do that? See, they want an ownership. If they can consult with me, that go for anybody they trying to run. If they consult with me, we would know. We would know how to manufacture them, get them ready, get them talking points ready, get them ready. Now, don't bring us no bullshit, but we would know how to get them ready and get them points making sense. Because I could tell. I said, y'all not ready for us. Stop acting like y'all ready for us when y'all not. Because that's some bullshit. I mean, they could trick the average probably the average person, but they ain't gonna trick us. They ain't gonna be able to trick no Nakhtian. They ain't gonna be able to trick no intelligent American, and nobody that they will be able to trick nobody of the light. They're not gonna be able to trick no chosen one. They're not gonna be able to trick us. I don't want to be in the business of tricking other people, but I'm saying like on a some consultant level, you know, well, we need help with direction of where to go. They won't ever do that. Apparently, they're not in the business of it. That's what you have to realize. Because you would think like, wouldn't it be so simple to just it's always some sneakiness. Oh, sign this had a sharing source code agreement with name, image, likeness, and all. No, what the what? Why do I gotta sign that? You asked me to endorse something for it. I don't want to sign that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's never no clean business because that's not that type of system. Because common sense will tell you they all about stealing and thieving. Common sense would tell your ass like why don't we just go and get a fair consultation and pay for a good ass consultation so we can get some shit popping? They ain't about that. That's how you know it's a corrupt system. Because if it wasn't a corrupt system, it should be no problem. It should be no problem in getting some good ass consultation. Knowing I only release 7% of the NACTIR, I like we would restructure all K through 12. Can't even put it out publicly because that my thing is it's a war against me. It is. They can say, "Oh, you warring against yourself." No, I've seen it. I have the documentation. If I need to go sit and catch up and document your latest attempts, I will. But I don't have time for that. I'm too much of a creator. I'm too much of a creative soul. All I gotta do is create some cool shit and keep it under wraps for now. If it don't get out, why the fuck would I care? We here to learn and grow and do have some fun, enjoy ourselves and chill. We ain't here for all this shit. And my thing is, I'm gonna tell you this: systems and building processes. That's fun to me. That's something I would do if any country say, "Yo, we develop and we need some help." That's fun. That's my definition of fun. Coming up with so many cool creative ideas to structure society. Part of it is governance and politics. Yeah, that's fun to me. But I know corrupt stuff. But governance is those type of system processes. That is actually a fun. That's fun for some people. Like me restructuring that K to 12 curriculum when I was playing around my journal. That shit was fun to me. Me coming up with some of the inventions I come up with that I haven't released online, obviously, that's fun. But then also new higher education systems, even my thesis that I'm working on, that shit is fun to me. What's the other one? Coming up with our new hieroglyphic pictographic language that no one could be able to code. It's not based on language. It's not based on English. You know how the tut language is easy to decode. No, you wouldn't be able to get this one. You wouldn't be able to know what the fuck it means unless you was a rat snitch that went out and told someone. Other than that, you wouldn't even know what the hell I'm talking. You know, but other people, it can be able. It's able to be understood by other people. That stuff is fun to me. So now when you're trying to tell chosen ones, and those are the light, you're trying to tell us that we have to be quiet and dim our light and not share our stuff because y'all gonna lock us out and then steal our stuff and never give us and always devalue us and never give us our fair shake. This is what they do to target individuals. Like you clearly, and this is what target individuals was telling me. That's why they don't share their ideas. They don't share nothing. They don't give out nothing. They don't teach nothing. They don't. They know a lot though, but they won't help nothing because they already say all they financially blacklist them. So they said they're not gonna ever get nothing. Um, and because they're like they're not gonna be chosen for nothing in that system. And so at first I thought that was dumb as hell. I'm like, you still gotta just be yourself. Why we gotta hide because of them? Why we gotta hide? I couldn't understand it. And I still don't fully believe in it. I still don't, but I understand it more. I understand it more. At first I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how you tell someone to not be they self and not speak, not teach, not share their gifts, their inventions, not share. I couldn't understand that. And if I had to eat crow. I had to eat crow myself. And so, you know, um, that's why I said a lot of stuff with the Nakhti order, that stuff got to be offline. And then even then, it can only be for the members. That's how we have to do it. It's not a secret society, though. It ain't no crazy initiation or nothing like that. It's still a high society. But it has to be just be for the information that we have to be for the members. And even, yeah, it would be for members. That's all. That's how it has to go now. It has to be for members and it has to be, offline. A lot of it will be. Maybe some things could be, shared, but all that stuff that has to be offline. Like even teaching a method for Negro invention, how to create it, where Negroes could know how to invent all that stuff they invented. Like those methods is not going online. I don't care what y'all say. You say, well, you don't. How could you? You're supposed to give it to us for free. No, I'm not. Y'all know how y'all treated me for 10 years. Y'all know how this government treated me for 10 years. No, I'm not. No, I'm not at all. Y'all know that there's COINTELPRO stuff. Y'all know that there is spiritual warfare going on. And so, no, I'm not at all. Babylon is already fallen. And so we have to remember it's a state of consciousness. Babylon is a state of consciousness. And so when you feed in them data, like they trying to hurry up and act like they all they can do is mimic. All they can do is mimic and copy. They can't do nothing else. And so that's why chosen ones say to be careful with your ideas and your thoughts and your dreams and sharing that stuff. I see what they say now. So a lot of us we have abundance mindsets. We just want to share and see society get better. But you're dealing with a force that don't give a fuck about none of that. And that's hard to deal with. And so we have to pivot. It don't mean that you probably can't express everything. You have to be smart and strategic, but you're gonna have to find a good team. You have to find good people to do that with because it's rough out here and people want to be you. People is trying to be you. Literally. Like people want your identity. If you know that you're a chosen one, people want to be you. I don't care how much they smile in your face. Now, if life is supposed to be it's beautiful. But I'm saying like no you notice you'll start noticing things. Even when you try to befriend people, you're trying to befriend people, be a good friend to them, look out for them. You don't get no value out of it. They think the good luck is coming from they self, and next thing you know, they devaluing you. Oh, and don't be intelligent. You be intelligent. You go around dumb people. The dumb people start disrespecting you for no reason. So you had experience with that. You have to realize that, and you be like, "What the fuck? Why are you disrespecting me? I'm just trying to help others." And so you have to move differently these days. You have to really find some just a good people that's like minded that fuck with you, and you fuck with them. Just like how they supposed to be adding value and bringing value to your life, you're supposed to be adding value and bringing value to their life. Stop being a parasite. Stop being a leech. That's what you tell these people. Stop being a parasite. Stop being a leech. It's about reciprocation and complementation, okay, and cooperation, and it's about you know give and take, not just me. Take. Don't do that. Don't let people do that to you. Just keep taking from you. Take it from you. Draining your life, draining your energy. You off the phone. Good and well they draining as hell. That dumbass conversation they was talking about Pookie and Ray Ray and some bullshit that they caused on themselves. They want you to come and solve their issue. Want you to watch the little bastard. And you say, well shit. Where he at? But you do it because that's your friend. But is that really the same frequency you want? Probably not. You want to help your friends. And they call me with that bullshit, the drama. Well, his mama said this. And here you is trying to do your little painting, try to do your music, trying to do whatever you're doing in life. So you got to remember that it's like um it's like that weird alien that jump on your face and you try to be. You have to be careful because there's elements of that. Now it's dying, and they try to say that we have to show unconditional love to. Since when do you show unconditional love to a parasite? When you had a parasite in your body, did you show unconditional love to it, or did you take some motherfucking herb, some wormwood, oregano to kill it, to kill that parasite, get it out your body? Is that what you did? Ain't that what you did? When you had a parasite in your asshole, what did you do? You took wormwood, you took papaya seed, you took pumpkin seed, because those get rid of parasites too. Pumpkin seed and white seed get rid of parasites. What you took wormwood, dragon blood get rid of parasites too. What did you do? Neem, oregano, olive leaf, okay, black walnut, powdered alcohol. What did you do? That's what you took. And you heard your stomach growling, you heard all this coming out. Get your motherfucking ass out my body. And it came out. Is that what you did? You took coconut oil too, because coconut will can cleanse you too. What did you do? You didn't show it on. You didn't just let it sit in there. Oh yeah, I'm showing it unconditional love. Nah, man. Oh, no, it say God say separate the chaff from the wheat. So I don't believe in all that. And they say unite. They telling you to unite with a parasite, and they have no intentions on looking out for you or reciprocating for you, loving on you, doing nothing for you. So always remember that. Don't be. And even there's factions of our community that's parasitic, and they get mad when we call it out. And so there has to be a schism. I'm not about classism. I'm not about what's it called, elitism, but maybe people consider me elitist. I don't know, but I know I don't think about classism. Well, I do care about that frequency though and mindset, and I'm not about to sit and get, we hear this shit and we got to hear 1,000 excuses, and then we tell them, look, guys, follow what the chieftain say, and we will look out for y'all. We got some good plans for you, but you got to listen. You don't want to take no instruction. No, I'm on that level. We all gods and we all this and you ain't and everything about a competition and ego. You ain't gonna have nothing. I can tell you that. And anybody that's intelligent will know that. That's as far as empire building, civilization building, it'll never happen. It will never happen. You can't move like that. Somebody gotta listen to someone somewhere. I've had to. Someone and when you ain't gonna just be able to listen to let me just steal that and I'll copy that. I'm gonna build my own thing. So now everybody got the same, and all these people got universities, but they don't have PhDs. They have PhD candidates. They don't have no credentials. It's weird. It's like everybody copying one, but like say they want to do this. Like we probably could have. give a whole department, build a whole department for you. You got the influence, build a whole department for you and structure this shit out where we can actually, motherfuckers can learn some sort of curriculum, but you can still do the shit that you good at, the shit that you good at. But you still got this educational component that I can take care of. I have credentials in instructional curriculum and design and technology management. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then you have all these people starting up these universities. None of them are educators. This is weird. This is so weird in this community. And I'm like, I already know the people behind it because we know who owns their contracts, their talent agencies. I saw the people behind it. You know who was behind it. I looked at the talent agency and we saw that they was trying to get other Black Americans to sign to the talent agency, which is owned by the you know who. And once again, no freedom, no parallel infrastructure. Once again, sneaky, 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 sneaky. But there is some Black Americans that caught on to it. They caught on to it before they let me know about it. And they was teaching other people about it. Like, look, I might want to think twice about that. And I know I complain. I know I wired or hard, attack or whatever. I hope not, but I talk out loud, at times, and so it's like I'm pretty sure that like whoever I do know that they probably do have on some level some sort of tapping, and I'm probably like, oh, this girl is complaining. This thing can show this to the Black community that they like the Black community. This is how she really feel about you. But I'll say whatever I said, right? Because it's the truth. And another thing is, what's more important though, is to thank good people for the good that they do. Um, I'm aware that you know there's some well based on the names and did the shopping brought me my order. They look like Black Americans, look like a brown human, but nonetheless, um, I want to thank those specific Black Americans that have ever supported, bought a book, anything that you ever done to support me. I truly, truly thank you. It's not like sometimes I'll be so harsh, but that is very cherishable to me and important to me. And those Black Americans that um was looking out getting me some of the foods they think I need. Now I don't know why. Uh, maybe they thought I needed those things, but like somebody put $20 worth of uh, non-GMO pistachios to give to me for free, you know. And I wouldn't have bought pistachios on my own. But I go and look it up. I say, okay, pistachios got a lot of these particular brand has like a lot of manganese in there, copper, magnesium, phosphorus. It had like a lot of it wasn't like a chemical, it wasn't no chemicals in it. It was just the pistachios. And so I said, well, why they giving me $20 worth of free pistachios? And I just started eating them this week. And I would have never known pistachios were that good. I would have never known pistachios was that good. I remember when we was kids, the elders used to eat the red ones, kind of. That was red dye. That wasn't real. Used to put red dye on pistachios. But I've been like I've been tearing up them pistachios, and that's a better choice because they got salt on them, sea salt, and that's a better choice. I said, well, that's a better food choice. So I said, I guess they put that in there thinking like you need to have, you need to eat some of these damn pistachios. That's a better choice than that other shit you be buying. That's how I took that. And I saw the face and I saw them walk, I saw them walk back to the cars. I know it was a Black person. And I said, they brought me $20 worth of free pistachios. They're expensive and they come from one of the health, one of the good health food stores, so to speak. Come from like Kroger's or anything. So I said, it was come from one of the bougie health stores. So I said, I really appreciate it. I didn't throw them away. Then one of them brings a couple of weeks, they bring me some rice cakes. I haven't opened that bag up though, but they call it, this is what you need. And that's how I take it because it'd be always a healthy ass choice. It's always something that's really helpful. One of them brought me organic, fresh lion's mane mushroom. Organic, fresh. Now I ain't gonna hold you. That lion's mane mushroom looks scary as hell. I said, you know what? I would try to eat it, but I'm gonna get the motherfucking capsule. And I've been having that lion's mane mushroom ever since. But in the capsule, I can't eat that scary looking mushroom. That fresh one, it was a fresh fresh organic lion's mane, two big ass packages, organic, non-GMO, local farm for free. They brought it to me for free. And I say, that looked kind of scary. I did try to eat it, but I just said, well, let me just get the capsule because it does help, supposed to help with, brain chemistry and bring it and grounding you. So I said, okay, I tried that. That was good. And so I want to thank that person that did that. I want to thank you know who it is. Because why would you just gonna put lion's mane? Look, this ain't just no small. It's a big ass package. You can't see that. That ain't just no accident. So I thank that person who did that. I thank that person the other person who brought me those big ass bags of pistachios. I thank that person that brought me those rice cakes and the Blaque American. Yeah, that's how I know they only choosing healthy stuff. They got bone broth, organic uh bone broth with the collagen in it. It was 100% organic. That was real expensive. It's like it's something I wouldn't have got on my own because I wouldn't been able to afford it. They got the real expensive bone broth, raw bone broth. That's just no. Out of them is literally when you look at it say for gut healing. The ingredients was like onion, bone broth, bones, collagen. It wasn't nothing really in it, but it was to repair. It repairs gut lining. It gives you collagen. And so they were like the two big ass bottles of that, and that was for free. So I see that type of stuff, and I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful for that. But I just noticed that I said they don't ever get no 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 chips. It'd be stuff that I actually need. And I remember one time I said I only had enough for either toilet tissue or dish detergent. So I said I'm gonna get the toilet tissue. And no lie, a black human came to. They put two bottles of detergent inside of it. Two bottles. A good detergent too. Two bottles in there for free. So I just want to say that um that is that I'm thankful for and grateful for it. And grateful for it because I don't really interact with people that much. So I guess they figure I think they know they respect my privacy or whatever, but um them doing that I appreciate. I don't want you to think that I know I get frustrated. I be talking my shit behind the scenes, like, "Wait, you support you they doing this and they doing that." And I was going off about that Gary Indiana thing. I ain't gonna hold you. But it's not about that. At the end of the day, it's about the encouragement is most important. The encouragement is actually most important because, like I said, that could happen to any of us. That could happen to my motherfucking ass. And so I wouldn't dare gloat in someone going through difficulties like that at all. But I also look at things as a lesson too. Like, okay, what can I learn from this? What did I do? What is this? And we want you guys to know, like, you know, you're gonna have to take a little more provisions for when stuff like that does happen, even if it's just for your individual household. If you know that you're around uh, no man's land, maybe don't do maybe queuing defense is a little too much per block. Just as an individual, think of what you would need. Now, a lot of people had generators, but then you got to get the oils. Maybe you want solar power generators. Maybe you want solar powered lamps. Um, cool. The portable. I have portable chargers. Like people are saying, well, how are they on their phone? How are they on their phone? Duh, you can get a portable charger. You can. You get a portable charger. Everybody knows that. Um, you get the portable. It'll stay charged, right? So if the lights go off, and you need to charge your phone. You can have that portable charger. It will charge. It works. Trust me. I carry that on me with me for emergency everywhere. You just throw that in your purse or your backpack, and now or keep it in your car. They say they have a car charger, anyways, but um, you can also keep extra of those too. In your backpack, your purse, especially if you're traveling out, and that way if you can't get to electricity or electric socket, you can just still charge your phone. At the very least, for charge another gadget, you could charge other stuff too with it. And so that's what about giving people that encouragement. So now what I'm going to do, so I do think we're done for the day. I think I covered everything I wanted to say. I'm going to play the Negro song for you to show you an example of Outre. Now, my other song is not so much with this type of feel. It's more of that R&B meets cool lo-fi. It's like R&B, kind of like lo-fi, and heavy bass, heavy 808 towards the end of the song and stuff. But this one, I like to experiment with different sounds. And the other one I got, that's going that I, the next two. So I am so excited. I'm like, yo, I really think I outdone myself. I think I outdone. I really did, because I'm like, this is going to be hot, and it's a nice message for the song, nice encouraging song, and it's dope. I like for the beat to sound dope. I think I spend too much time on a dope ass beat, and then good lyrics. I would make sure I write some good lyrics, but then I'm not really I mean, I don't really pay attention to the vocality as much as probably I should. Like I wish I could more. You know how some people, their gift is their vocals, and I can sing, but it's like I don't really be putting a lot into the vocals as much as the beat. Like, to me, I be like, I want the beat. To me, the beat matters, and then I know the lyrics matter, the melody, and then I'm just gonna sing it. And some people, they know how to do some really cool things with their voice. The what's about ripping and ad libs and all that. And I don't really be focused on that type of stuff. But I do know the most exciting part for me is coming up with a really cool beat, and then really cool lyrics and a melody. And then the least exciting part is actually singing it and then editing it. And so I probably grow out of that, but I just noticed I make the beat first or have a makeshift lyric and melody. Like, I got three melodies that came to me in dreams. Three of them for as far as the singing part. So I was so lucky for that. I'm so lucky for that. So because I was like, man, I only got five songs, but I'll up to eight as far as, but I just got to finish them out, work on it, work on it, you know. And so that's some good therapy. I said, this is good to release, to put my hands in something, experiment out the end, and actually have some modicum of artistic expression. Well, let me play this Negro song for y'all. I'm gonna get up and off here. I was so happy. I said, I had enjoyed making this little Negro song and coming up with all these anagrams and decoding those anagrams. I'm kind of nerdy like that. I like that type of shit. So let's play it. hear that organ sound? Believe it or not, that's an organ. And what I wanted it to be was like organ plus like spaceship. Like it's like organ meets spaceship that, and then it goes off. I put that there because I wanted it's a church organ. Believe it or not, it's a church organ, but it's kind of has like a space feel to it. It kind of added like a space effect to it. Like I wanted to sound like a spaceship landing almost. So let's play it again. Feel your thoughts when you dream at night. You see your thoughts when you dream at night. Yeah, that right. That doing that like that's a church organ. You feel your thoughts when you dream. Then you hear that more that rock and roll guitar, and then I put you hear the church organ in the background, but then I extended it out after the guitar in, put the church organ in, and did make it sound like a spaceship. I like the way that ended, so you could really hear that I really wanted to emphasize that. When you dream at night, you feel your thoughts. When you dream at night, I don't want nothing there, just those drums. You see your thoughts. When you dream. And I wanted that. I wanted like this weird eclectic guitar, like electric sound with like the kind of staccato, like you hear that, like it's like out, it's sharp. I wanted it guttural almost. I don't know how to express it. It's like something guttural. You hear that? I wanted that to just have this real staccato, guttural expression. You see your thoughts. So, so I recorded like 3 different endings to that part with my voice, and I didn't know which one to use, so I combined 2 of them. If you listen closely, you can hear it. You have to probably, but I said, "Fuck it, I'm just going to use." Like for the pig, 'cause I said, "I'm just going to use both," because um, that one sounded, what, it just ended regular, like at night, like, and then I said, "Well, I did something more dramatic," and I said, "Well, I don't know which one to pick. They both sound nice." And so I said, I just combined them. And once again, I want to end with that guttural guitar sound with the voice as well. And so, I enjoyed making that song. Again, I appreciate Ancestors giving that melody to me in a dream. I woke up, recorded it, Um, if I, as far as instrumentation wise, as far as the bass they gave me, I wasn't able to quite get that bass right. The bass, because I would need a live instrumentation, someone that like a live musician, a musician that actually could do it the way I needed, the way they had said saw it in a dream. So, but this is good for them. Like I said, as far as we talk about independence, I do own the copyright for this. They supposed to be giving me my damn documentation. I don't know what's the hold up, but copyright, the masters, produce the production, all this stuff is by me. There ain't no 50 people to one song. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, um, I had to write my music. I had to write, I had to sing it, to produce it. And so it's a these youth out here, and stay encouraged and keep doing what you love and get good at your craft. You get your craft, people will say, "Oh, that's cheesy. Oh, I don't like that. I don't enjoy that sound." So what? Who gives a fuck? That's what you wanted to do. That's what you like. That's what's in your heart to put out. Put it out. Don't worry about, oh, is they gonna like this? Or they gonna judge? They not gonna, someone gonna like this. Some people gonna like it. Some people not. That's just life. Some people gonna like it, and some people are not. And that's just the nature of life. But what you gotta realize is, do you like it? At the end of the day, were you proud of what you made, what you put out? Do you like it? Okay. And that's what you consider too. You got to know in life when anything is a duality. Yeah, motherfuckers gonna like it. Some motherfuckers not gonna like it. And you got to know at the end of the day, what's even more important. It's about love God, love people. Do you like it? Do you like it? And you say, yes, I like it. I like what I put out. I felt connected to it. Then that's all that matters. Because these people on this planet can't even be trusted to not be haters any fucking ways. It'd be something that's good out, and they still will be sitting there hating. So you gotta make sure you can't live for other people because they're trying to get you to live for them. But they devalue you anyways. They always devalue you anyways. So why the fuck would you be sitting up there? Do you like? Yeah, you can care what people feedback, constructive feedback, and all these things. But a lot of times when it comes, they can't on this these be trusted to not be biased, to not try to hold, to not. You already know what I'm talking about. They can't be trusted to be to give you your best to work in your best interest. Anyways, a lot of these people. So you're sitting there looking for their feedback or their whatever, and they not gonna give you no real. They may be secretly liking this shit, wanting it for themselves, and gonna tell you, don't put that out. That's whack. Ain't nobody gonna like that. And you sitting up there, oh, maybe they're right. No, they ain't right. Put that shit out. Do what you gotta do. And yeah, motherfuckers is not gonna like everything. I don't like everything that come on the damn radio, and you shouldn't either. But some things you do like. Simple as that. And so, Negro, which is on my genealogy record. Okay, that's what I saw. Records in North Carolina, records in Alabama. It said Negro going back to the 1800s. Okay, it didn't say none of these weird ass acronyms that's coming out. It's just already a delineated term from the Jacobean Wars that come out of Ireland and Spain. And how do we know that? Through the anagrams that we covered. Now, obviously, we go by Blaque American. A lot of us still. I'm just saying this is a legacy. This is legacy. So what it's saying is, obviously, I still say Blaque American. I spell it BLAQUE, but I still say Blaque American. And Blaque American, BLAQUE, does also specify American Negro from America, American Negro, and American Indians. And so, um, that's where I'm at. Yeah, it could be a misnomer. I ain't trying to bring it back. I think people gonna walk around calling each other Negro? No, probably in jesting and at times, but for the most part, people's gonna still call themselves Black American. That's what it is. But I'm not throwing this away. I'm not about to sit up there and act like I didn't see this clear as day on my motherfucking genealogy records and act like I got a right to switch them to some weird ass acronym that the CIA government is behind giving us. So I'm not doing it. I am very intelligent as a military scientist, and I can tell when something is a fucking bigger government play. So I'm not playing around with that shit. I'm not. I would go play around. I'm not a follower. Okay. I am not a follower, and I'm not afraid to stand alone. You see how I be bold. Don't nobody be watching my video, and I still get up here and be bold in a motherfucker. Okay, I do not care. Okay, because you got to stand, and you know you're right, and you know you're right, and you know motherfuckers copy everything you do. Oh, please, you got to be bold. And so, that's where it's at. So let me get my ass up on off of here. Y'all be easy. That's what I first thing I did. Let's just Instagram live stream. Thanks for everybody who checked who came in for a little bit on Instagram. You guys have a great week.